everything you needed on earnings. It was technically perfect. Technically the perfect trade. Double top in the pre-market, breaks out that level before the open. The open dip goes right into that prior high. Wicks it, then just holds the volume weighted average price. That's a perfect setup. It's as good as it gets. So congratulations to anyone that was smart enough to play this instead of Wendy's, unless you were short Wendy's. But it's 11 o'clock. We'll see how this New Orleans themed lunch goes. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll enjoy it anyways. Joey Options is doing hard work today, filling in for Sean and sticking with the midday. You're about to see more Joe and the professor himself. Sharif is in the building, and I hope at least he's trading some BlackBerry today.
Boom, 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 boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and what a day it is today in the world of small cap gappers. So let's get right down to work. We have a lot of triple-digit movers here. First and foremost, ILLR up 408%. Trying to take out that 525 level. It did reject right at that level at the $0.25. Back down into $4, but most notably, it is holding above the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I like the entry right around 3.25 to 3.5 if it's able to make its way down there, with my stop through 3. So ILLR will certainly be in focus. And HELP, HELP, a buy program right at the bell from 9:30 all the way up to 6:34. Now this one's not up that much, right? But the direction of the stock of the price action looks pretty good, and I want to see if it wants to hold up right at $6. You're getting that double overlap right now with the 10 EMA on the 5 as well as the whole dollar level, both pointing to that $6 area. So that is of interest to me. This one as well, AIIO, really running here. This is the number 2 gapper, ironically enough. It's only up 31.5%. Dealing with 4 right now. I like this structure to hold up at around 390. Again, that does jive with the 10 EMA on the 5, but that also is the top end of the price action initially before the breakthrough 4. So AIIO definitely going to be in focus for me here. ILLR, yeah, looks like it might be headed down to the volume weighted average price. Joey, ATAI, another good one here. A lot of direction in these through 4 and 2/3, right all the way up into 4 3/4, kind of dilly-dallying right now. Watch out for the breakdown below, I would say 460 to 455. Those are the levels I'm looking at, and those are the names. Joey, what do you got?
All right, Mark. I got the same name that I was trading here earlier this morning. What's up, Assassino? Do you need to talk to me about something? For Unity? No, I already logged off there, brother. I don't know why. Okay, I should be able, it's still saying waiting to connect. You want to double check there for me? Is it? Oh, I thought I logged out there. So, all right, okay, I'm in on TP Pro. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Guys, I've been in the same trade pretty much all morning, right? Like we take a look at NVDA from the lows at 10 o'clock this morning, and then sure enough, bang, off to the races we go. $87 is going to be my next primary target. We had a loss earlier, and we told you we just got out immediately, right when we were supposed to, and then we hop right in. I had an order in this initial position size right at the volume weighted average price. Unfortunately, it tanked. But with that being said, if the market was going to find any form of a recovery, let's add some more. And then now we're starting to piece it out. So whatever I was looking for right here is better by tenfold. So it's been a pretty good start this morning. The only loss, so that's a loss there. We take one loss on NVDA, and then DRAM, we also took a little bit of a loss here too. But small potatoes, nothing compared to what we put on here for, I'm still waiting for this connection. There we go. Nothing compared to what we put on with NVDA. See, guys, getting out when you're supposed to. Crack of that low, 78.50. We're off to the races. We get out of it, and then the underlying asset proceeds to sell off an additional $5 from that point. So not a horrible recovery here. The initial selling was weak. We're still down 1.3%. In NVDA, we're down 1.10% here. Apple down 5%. SpaceX, Microsoft, and Amazon all red here today. But we're starting to climb back higher in SanDisk and Micron, so things aren't too bad there.
All right, man. Huge shout out to VinFast for sponsoring today's video. They just announced a massive partnership with AutoBrains and NVIDIA to bring level 4 agentic autonomous driving to real life. We're talking next-gen intelligent tech that's completely redefining how we hit the road. So if you want to see what the actual future of driving looks like, you need to click the link in my description and check out VinFast today. Thanks. All right, continuing to watch here, AIIO. Got into this one at 407s. I'm looking for 88s to hold up. That's not a random area. That's right below the 10 EMA on the 5. So this has to hold up the 10 EMA. I'm not going to be strict and say, oh, it's got to hold up above $4. It's been zigging a little above 4, a little bit below 4. So we'll see how this cookie crumbles. I think 4.25 could be, you know, a relatively reasonable area to expect price action to reach to. If we get to 4.25, I'll make an assessment then as to whether I feel this one, it could be on the way to the $0.50. We're going to keep a close eye on that. But I want to simultaneously keep a close eye here on HELP. You know, with these kind of stocks, the ones that are not up that much and, you know, are not former runners, so to speak, I always feel like these ones are being bought up by bigger money. And, you know, sometimes that big money algo buy program gets shut off during the midday as they've accumulated the shares that they want, or maybe they're waiting for a bit of a price dip later in the day to kind of pick up some more. And that's been my observation with these kind of things. So I'm going to be a bit more strict in how I enter and exit help. So I'm going to kind of insist that prior bar low hold up. Prior bar low takes me down to about 602. So what I'll do is I'll just give it to 6, right? And so we'll get in, oops. Continue here. Here we go. So we'll get in here on HELP, okay. All right, so we can't get into HELP. It is blocked on the system. That's fine. That's no problem. We can keep an eye out on something else. ATAI, also another very similar name. Let's look at that. Let's pull up that. 475 flat top brewing here on ATAI. I like the range that it's putting in. I'd say give this to 60. If it does fail, but otherwise I'd be looking for a bit of a bigger break on ATAI into about $5. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw out my stop there. We'll put it a skosh below that 50 or that 60 penny level, and we'll see if we can ride this one up, Joey. 473 high. Let's see if this one can work up into 5.
Sounds good, mate. We're posted up at 87s here on this name, and I just keep repeating it. But anyways, let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here today. Industrials at the top of the list, 2.6% to the top side. Healthcare, 2 1/5. Materials up 1.8%. Financials up 1.8%. I thought we'd be up a little bit more here, guys. Energy sector, utilities, and the tech sector holding on to positivity. Consumer defensive, not looking too great here. When you think you'd see a little bit of a rotation, not necessarily the case or what we're experiencing right now. Consumer cyclical down 0.5%, and then we have the real estate sector also down 0.5%. We can take a look at the heat map. We don't want to take any of the light from the individuals behind us. We'll take a look at some of it. Concentration, right? We can head over to XLF. Who's the best performer here? It's going to be JPM up there at 2.5. Morgan Stanley up there as well, too. American Express and some of the other names just holding on to positivity. So not a horrible look. Visa's been great. Like, Jesse, I don't know what, did you have puts or something along those lines for Visa? Because we were a bigly in that name bright and early this morning. Hasn't been a horrible session to start, and we just want to keep that narrative going. We're up 1.5% on Visa, and then 0.8% on MasterCard. AMD hasn't been strong. We're still south of VWAP, guys, so that's a little bit tougher of a look. Small cap land, Sharif's got that covered 100%. Pepsi, we've seen strong. But Sharif, another sector that is strong here today, the airlines. The airlines are up another 4%. Like, here's Delta. Delta up 4%. Boeing, that's a different story. UAL up 4 1/5, and then you have AAL up 3%. So things aren't too bad. Yeah. Looking bright. The prices of oil coming down. So things are looking pretty.
Prices now, Joey.
And the cruise lines, right? Cruise lines. When these guys are just so much of their cost is on
100%.
It's on fuel. When you start to see that drop off, it's better for these companies.
Absolutely, yeah. We were worried about jet fuel running out of supply, this, that, and the other. But as I was mentioning to Joe, we are at pre-war prices for oil. I think it's going to be some time, though, until we see pre-war gas prices at the pump, because that typically takes a little bit longer to adjust. So eye out there. All right, got into ILLR. Zigging and zagging right now, holding prior bar low. I like a general trend here. I'm kind of unsure how to play this in a strict sense. So here's what I mean by that. Like, you clearly see an uptrend.
What's up with there?
locally here, ever since bottoming out right around 10.25 off that 3.25. But you also see failed breaks of 4.25 as well, rearing its ugly head as a level of resistance. Nary a closing print above it. Only a few here from the move into 5. This is coming down pretty aggressively. Already got stopped out through 69. So that's a pretty aggressive move here on ILLR. So that loses trend. We'll give back a little bit on that. How come I didn't get out the full position? Okay, that's interesting. We're going to keep a close eye on that. I'm not sure why that didn't trigger the full position, but that's okay. Keeping an eye on the other one here. AIIO still up 33%, zigging and zagging with 4, putting some beak wetters towards the area high. And then ATAI, still waiting for this one to kind of manifest into that 4 3/4. But here's the deal. With ATAI, I'm acutely aware of the possibility that this could end up as a rounded top. And you'll have notice of that ahead of time, because then you'll start seeing lower highs. The lower lows don't always come in that quickly, but the lower highs do. They usually show their hand a little bit earlier. So if I kind of start seeing that kind of price action on ATAI, I'll get out of there prematurely. But NEXR just rocketed up, trying to take the dollar again. But as you can see, very, very few closing prints above that dollar area into 110. That is the high of the day. But every time it seems to work up into that dollar area, it's met with aggressive selling. So need to be aware of that, even though it's taking out 95 pennies, and that does look pretty good because this one was a bit of a flat top, at least for about, I want to say, 10:40 until the breakout 11:10. Yeah, so about half an hour worth of a flat top that just got taken out. But, as quickly as you move 5 pennies, you got to, face the fact here that you're going to start dealing with the sellers at $1. So something to watch out for there. Let's go back here. I'll take off ILLR. I think it's a little too rich for my blood today. What we'll put is NEXR and see if we can kind of load something up on that. I don't want to take a break of $1. And I don't want to take a break of $1 for exactly the reason that those who did take the break of $1 over here ended up, either getting stopped out or, prematurely taking out some profits into 105 or 110. So it's already shown its hand that it's kind of weak at that dollar area. How to play this is always a little bit tricky for me, right? Because you want to wait through the dollar, right? But you did get a substantial move above the dollar. You got 110. And if you punched in there, well, then you were pretty much stopped out and you were 20 pennies out of the money on a 90 penny name. Man, that's not really a good look. So we're going to keep, we'll keep that one tight. ATAI and AIIO zigging and zagging here, Joey. Waiting for my first print on AIIO.
Good stuff, man. Let's head over to our scanner. We can go over the watch list once again, but you can see we take that stop loss right here. We get out as soon as it was heading towards the lower end of this wick. The momentum started to pick up, but then the volume by time profile just does a complete 180. And then sure enough, we're like, all right, let's re-engage in this, absorbed its liquidity. And then we're fortunate enough, it's always the best when you enter your trade and it's instantly in the money. Off to the races, it goes bang, bang, bang. We add a little bit more. We take some off. Now we're posted up at 87s to see if we're going to get that. But at this pace, with the market starting to turtle shell over, it's not looking too pretty in Suntan City right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin heads towards that $32 marker. We talked about $32.50 being a potential base, but look at the speed and the momentum as we just have that cover rally, and then now we're starting to give a little bit back, ladies and gentlemen. Turtle shell type price action here happened relatively quick. With the volume weighted average price tracking the price action, almost like a lower end moving average. I'm referring to the 9 and the 20, especially right out of the gate. Then it's significantly lower. You're going to have those sellers step right in. You consolidate up here, but with the NASDAQ, you fail to hold it, and then look at it. We're not too far off of the high of the day. You want to get into the nitty gritty and into the detail to see if you're going to find any form of a bounce. It might be a little bit trickier. So for me, we had some success bright and early this morning, which we're thankful for here in NVDA. I don't mind heading over into some Momo plays, heading over, chilling with Sharif and some small cap trades here potentially. I know there was a couple that were on my eye. I know the NEXT or the NEX, whatever it was, the NXTR or the NEXR, not too bad. 218 million shares traded. ILLR started to cool down a little bit. And what has Mimi been up to? That was something, oh, it lost VWAP. So that one's AC Slater garbage in my opinion. Once they're below that, it's tough for them to recover, I find. But from a daily, there might be a potential breakout here, Sharif, all the way up to $11 in BlackBerry. Let's send things off to Sia.
Keep an eye out for GM, a little bit of a downtick over there. They've revealed their 2027 GM Sierra pickup with new V8 engines. Today, it's narrowing its model lineup for the next generation Sierra to the Pro, Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali, and Denali Ultimate. So they'll come after. They've come after a week after after GM has unveiled updates to Sierra, Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck sibling. Currently, GM sliding to the downside, but the stock is still up a little over 1%.
All right, guys, quick reminder that Trader TV Live members get mine, Sharif's daily morning research note every single trading day. We're talking the big market stories, the key levels, the trade plans, of course, the catalyst, and what we're watching into the open. It's only $4.99 a month, and you also get members-only videos, posts, custom emojis, and loyalty badges. Hit join below this video to become a member. And let's just show them what we get IRL, please. Here we go. If we can go to the screen. This is it. So this is the Micron morning note for just by way of example. So you're not going to get much in the way of fundamentals. To join, if you want more of that, you got to join me on the morning show where we go through things ad nauseum, a bit more in the detailed from the fundamentals section. But if you're here to trade, if you're a technical trader, then this is for you. And it's not just for intraday traders. We're talking swing as well. Let's get right down to it. So on the technical side, we're going to chart on the 15. You're going to get 3 key areas of support, 3 key areas of resistance, as well as the 15-minute structure, what it looks like from a structural sense, but what to look for long and short. You're also going to get a bias, what key levels we're leaning towards, what side we're leaning towards. Are we looking long or are we looking short? By the same token, we're going to chart on the 4-hour for the swing context. So if you're more like me and you're more of a swing trader and you like to kind of digest these headlines a little bit more slowly than intraday, then this is certainly for you. You're going to get the same thing, 3 areas of support, 3 areas of resistance, and a 4-hour structure. But let's talk about the trading plan, because it's one thing to just tell somebody, hey, this is a key level. It's another thing to tell them what to look for when getting in. And we're going to get both of those. You're going to get the 15 and you're going to get the 4 hours. So intraday and swing for the trading plan, and you get catalyst watch as well. And I think that that's pretty helpful for people. So for example, for IBM, a catalyst watch for their sub 1 nanometer chip. We're looking for timelines on when they expect the accelerators, the progress on their semiconductor map, AI infrastructure spending, enterprise AI demand, quantum computing developments, all the adjacent catalysts that could have an effect on this name with this specific headline you're going to get. And last but not least, you're going to get that execution mindset. It gives you a broader picture of how to look at the name and perhaps how to approach it. Never financial advice, always suggestive, of course, Joey.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. That's what we want to hear. Take a little sip of caffeine and then some water to follow. Now, what we have potentially is a higher low, which could be good for this market. I got all out of my NVDA trade. We're like, all right, it looked like we were going to curl back over, but then immediately puts in an indecision print right after. So you might a little bit of a fake out there. Trendline did break. So let's see. What we do have is somewhat of a shelf that's starting to form. So anything south of the $85 and we hold up at 83, then that might be another green light to go. We had DRAM this morning. We were trying to trade that. Didn't work in our favor, so we may as well stick to our guns. I mentioned we're going to take some looks at some small cap names. We're going to be sticking with the name that has been working the best for us here today. And I mean, from a daily, obviously things aren't pretty, but if we get a hammer candle closing, then we might look a little bit more optimistic on what we got here. That's an NVDA, but I want to pull up Meta because Gaurav was talking about this name earlier today. Now, What I do like here is, I don't know why I don't, okay, it's just taking forever to display the data. What I do like is that we have this continuous downtrend, but we are starting to sell. So consistent lower highs right here, but we're starting to get an indecision print before the low. So if we don't crack 520 and we happen to sit on the backside of this trend, I think we can find somewhat of a recovery here in Meta, to be honest with you. That's what I'm looking for. It's one of my larger holdings. The PE on this thing is obviously a lot lower than what we were looking at from before. 23 was what I've seen. That might change from now. And if it's getting cheaper and cheaper, hopefully at some point the street is going to like it. 16? Like, are you kidding me, man? It's like 17, 16.9? Forward earnings, like, come on, let's get rocking and rolling here on this thing. Some of this, we got like AMD, who's been 173, 223 times forward earnings for quite some time, but the street keeps buying it up. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a recovery and some interest within Meta. I mean, we were talking about Google at 23 times. Next thing you know, stocks doubled at that point.
Yeah, it did, man. Good look. All right, doing well on both positions now. ATAI taking out 80 for the first time on the day, into the high of the day at 81. I didn't take an 81 print there because I wasn't looking for one. We're looking for 82s, and then we're looking for 5s. So let's see if this one holds up. My proposition on this one to you guys was this was a flat top brewing at 470. I was right, and it's continuing to go. Now, whether I'm going to be right about 5 or not, we'll have to wait and see. So continuing to watch that. AIIO, another one we're doing well on here. Here it goes into the high of the day again, 420. There is a seller at the fifth of a dollar. I'm more biased that we get into the quarter dollar and then perhaps we have a bit of a retracement. I'm assuming down to 410. 410 was a bit of a staunchy area of resistance. At least it looks that way on the one. Multiple candles rejecting that 410 area with a final break there coming moments ago, hence giving me the first print on that. So AIIO, end of 21 it goes, a new high a day on AIIO. Both of them doing quite well here with ATAI coming back in though into 78s I see on my side screen. So continuing to watch that. Now I want to work into NEXR. This is giving me rounded bottom, despite the fact that it's not at a bottom. It's giving me shades of a rounded bottom. You kind of establish that base, and then you get, incrementally higher lows. The problem is, though, we still have that aggressive $1 seller we need to be aware of, okay? Because we also have lower highs. By way of example, 11.10 high, $1. 11.15 high, 98.82. Current bar high, 11.20, 97.31. So despite the fact we are curling a little bit here, we need to be acutely aware of the seller who keeps putting in that lower high, because that lower high will get you in trouble. My out on this one, should I get in, would be around 87 to 86 pennies. We're going up to see you.
Thank you so much for that. We're just going to take a look at PSNY. Keep an eye out. This is coming in from the Wall Street Journal saying that the United States has banned Polestar, which is the Chinese-owned EV maker, from selling cars in the United States. The stock is down 6% on the day, still like going down. There's a red tick continuing to slide. Just keep an eye out. PSNY, the United States, announcing this, coming from reports from the Wall Street Journal, that they have banned the Chinese-owned EV maker from selling cars in the United States.
Yeah, it's just sad because they built an entire plant, I believe in Georgia or North Carolina, to qualify as a domestic producer. This company is owned by Volvo, which is owned by Geely, which is a Chinese company, of course. And that's been sort of their approach to get into the American market vis-a-vis a backdoor. Now, I don't think President Trump would be, too unhappy should they start producing more cars in America. I think this is a bargaining chip. I don't think Polestar will be locked out forever, but yeah, it's not a good thing, especially with a name I'm involved in. Joe.
All right, man. All right, let's pop up the old chat here. I haven't pulled up. See what everyone's looking at. Put some names in there. We'll go over them. Total fake out city here as we got out right around the lows. Now you're starting to climb a little bit higher, about 50 cents from that marker, but that's all right. We'll find another opportunity. I'm looking for some momentum style plays. Let's get the ball rolling. The tape really speeding up. That's a primary objective of mine. And then if you break through the high of the day, which is essentially my my style of trading, then I like that FCUV. All right, are you trolling, or is that a legit thing here this morning? Let's head over to the good old scanner in the watch list to see if we got anything that is attractive. Not doing too much. Maybe around the 2 o'clock hour, you make a second leg higher, and NEXR, ILLR. Ooh, okay. All right, now we're starting to talk a little bit of business. Curl over, nice base at 368. We'll be patient. As long as we continuously hold the 70s level, then I like our chances on ILLR. I'm going to pull that bad boy up on my chart. We're above the volume-weighted average price, which we like. So let's get involved in this bad boy here, Sharif. 1 second. ILLR. Have you traded this here today?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Failed attempt.
Okay, it broke down, right? It didn't get
Yeah,
going.
it's not my favorite.
It's not doing too much right now. Give it some time. We'll see if anything happens there. ATL and BlackBerry has definitely been in the talks. Neil going on about this one here. I thought we would get this 1090 break. Not necessarily the case right now, but we are holding above the volume-weighted average price. And RAM, this is a 2x leverage ETF of DRAM that came to market yesterday, guys, which is interesting. $27 all the way down there. So watch out, Round Tree Hill, T-Rex 2x long DRAM ETF. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess I was going to say, I never really heard of anything like that. But MSTZ starting to go to the top side. Is this inverse? Yeah, this MSTZ must be inverse because up goes MSTZ, probably down with MSTR. Let's actually pull up this underlying to see what we got going on this bad boy. 87 bucks, not too good of a look. And BMNR down to $13, man. Oh, man. Maybe it's a time to start looking at some of these crypto plays.
All right, into AIIO, we get the $0.25 as we predicted, and we add at 10, and here it comes again. Taking out all my prints after the ad. Good look, looking for a breach of the fifth of a dollar into 20 pennies. We did breach prior bar low, but as I mentioned to you guys, there was a seller initially at 10 that we couldn't shake, and if this one came back to 10 after moving to the $0.25, I was going to add, and it's exactly what I did, and we're taking prints on it. So good for me. Looking for continuation on ATAI through 80. It's doing the same thing at 80 pennies that it did at 70 pennies. This flat top where this, I guess we could be a little bit kind to the short sellers and say, maybe they don't understand what they're doing. Ooh. Because they're going to be in trouble here if the same thing happens at 70 at 80. So we'll see exactly whether we get that. We're posted at 82. We're posted at 85, and we'll see what comes of that. So now I want to move my stop up here on AIIO to account for my ad because I don't want to give back anything on this one. So exactly that. We'll look to defend the 10 penny area. But I want to mention as well, NEXR, this is the one we were going to get involved in, right? Because this was, my view on this was sort of rounded bottoming. But I was alive to these lower highs. And the lower highs ended up being more important than this rounded bottom. And here we go, right back into the lower end of the range at around 89, 88. Be on the lookout for the loss of that, because if it loses that, it's going straight to 85. And if it loses 85, good luck, right, with these ones especially. So be careful here, guys. Now, HELP is blocked on our system, which is fine. We don't need to trade it, but I can tell you guys about it. And as I predicted, there was going to be a seller at 6. A buyer, at 6. Mainly because there was a price action resistance at 6, and I just love the fact that it overlapped with the whole dollar level, and there it goes, taking out prior bar high. I'll like this a lot more if it can take out 615 because it'll take out both prior bar highs, but look out for the buyer at 6 if you're looking short here. If you're looking long, then it works right down your alley, so watch out here. HELP, zigging and zagging with 6 with a 634 high. DFTX. This one showing up yet again, multiple days here on the former name MindMed. Today, another good day for DFTX. 47 bucks. We could see 50 probably sooner rather than later. Look out for the break of structure. If you're swinging this like I was for years, be on the lookout here when it does lose the prior day low or breaches prior day high, because that's how these ones run, right? They're good until they're not. So be careful here with DFTX, but hey, man, Shout out to whoever took that. Joey, we're right back into the high here on AIIO after the ad, and more pleased I couldn't be.
All right, then we hit this. We'll hit this stone cold there for you. We'll hit the money. That was a quick trade, Joey, says Taylor Batty. What are you talking about, my boy? I'm not in anything. I was looking at ILR, but it's given up. It's up 370%. Oh, what a tank city on this bad boy. Yeah, it might be done. What I don't like, though, Shreep, what is your platform saying on ILR? I have the 1 minute up here. It's saying we're above VWAP. Here, we're below VWAP.
We're above. We're definitely above. So here we go. So this populates from 4 a.m. You know that, right?
Yeah, but what I'm getting at, so I know we're going to have the same data. So what I'm getting at here is pretty much, what do you do if you're like in a predicament where one piece of information is telling you one thing and the other is telling you something else?
Well, you need to be alive.
Got to be alive to that.
To when it's populating from. Like you and I always talk about that. We tell everybody, right? Okay, so look at this. So, Joey, look at these volume bars over here.
Yeah.
Up until right there, that's the pre-market. So from here to here, that's the pre.
Yeah.
Those volume bars are bigger than all the volume bars that we've put during regular trading hours. So to me, if you are not using the volume weighted average price on a small cap gapper that was moving in the pre-market and it's not populating from 4 a.m., you are doing yourself a disservice because you do not have the accurate data. It's very nice that programs want to populate at 6:30 or 6 or whatever they want to populate at, but that's giving you incorrect information, especially with these ones where we know they're moving bigly in the pre-market, Joey.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit of a catch-22 there, right? You got to know how your program does and acts and everything like that. So.
Yeah, Crapstock, you're on one here today, man. I feel like Joey have FOMO in that ILLR trade. You know what, man? I definitely didn't have any FOMO. I'll tell you when I have it. Nothing happened. Like during the
You tried your hand at a stock. What is so bad about that?
Who, me?
Yeah, you tried.
I never took it.
You didn't even take it.
No, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not.
You didn't even take it. What do you want from the guy?
No, it's Taylor Batty just saying. And to your point, you're like, man, it was really only moving in the pre-market.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to?
I didn't like it, Joe.
Yeah, IO is steady, says Lele. What's all right, man? Steady. We like that. No, man, in all reality, like, listen, this was our primary trade on the day. We started taking attempts on this bad boy. Don't worry, we're not coming after you or anything like that, Taylor. Lemon's family, stop picking on Joe. No, man, relax. Someone's picking on me, man. Anyways, $10. Boom, boom, boom. Nice ad on this bad boy. Definitely been it has been our best performer here of the day, and we took another attempt on DRAM. So just trying to stick to names, but it's pretty choppy, right? Like, look what's happening. A lot of overlapping candles here in the tech sector. We're struggling to break through the volume-weighted average price on the NASI, and there it goes. Maybe this is what we're going to need in order for us to continue this grind higher. What fell right into pre-market zones? I marked out this 738 level. Run right into the pre-market low, and then you have some form of a pullback. But now we're starting to recover, which isn't horrible whatsoever. I like that. I just can't engage right here, especially after you've hit the bottom. Bang, bang, bang. I'm not going to be buying all the way up here, even though buying above VWAP could be a good strategy. You just have to take into consideration what your risk to reward is going to be. 85.50 is where you're proven wrong, and watch out for the ebb and flow within some of these tech names. Banks have been hot too, so we like that. Neil bringing us that they had the stress test, passing, increasing of the dividend. JP Morgan up 2%, Morgan Stanley up 2.25%, and we got Goldman Sachs up 1.5%.
All right, ATAI right back into that 80 penny area. It's not the high of the day. The high of the day is 81. I haven't taken prints at 80. I haven't taken prints at 81. I'm waiting for 82. As I mentioned, I feel that this one is accumulating, possibly for a flat top break. Now listen, just because I feel it's a flat top break candidate, maybe it ends up being that way. It doesn't have to go in a straight line though. Like we saw over here with the flat top break on 470, it got into 70, dropped back down, 63, got back into 72, dropped even lower into 62, again, got into 70, dropped back down. So I'm anticipating similar price action at the accumulation of 80 for a possible move into 5. That is what I'm gauging here on ATA. And by the way, it's not up that much, 14.5%, and hasn't done much volume either, about 5.6 million shares. But you know what? even though the volume is relatively low, it is a 1 penny spread, something that I can manage a lot easier. And it's been a 1 penny spread the entire time, not just opening up and tightening up as a price action develops. Let's pause for a second and go to Adair.
Beware here, guys. USO in focus, getting some comments from different members of the Israeli leadership, including Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister Katz, both of them saying that Israel and its military will be remaining in the, quote, security zones in Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza as long as necessary. So nothing massive, but just be aware both are speaking. Back to you.
TX coming back into the volume weighted average price. So what I did right away, I wanted to see, did DFTX find support at VWAP over the last couple of days? What was the price action respect or lack thereof for that VWAP level? Well, it looks as if, it comes into VWAP and doesn't lose it by all that much. It more or less straddles it. There's a number of reasons for that. We're not going to really get into them. It's beyond the scope of this sort of trade, but I'm not buoyed by this VWAP trade, quite frankly. So I think I'm going to forego a dip trade here, right around, what is this, 45 and a quarter VWAP? Yeah, give or take. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that, especially, hold on, what are these area lows here, these double bottoms? 1030, the area low is 4509, prior to that 4508, prior bar low 4515. Ah, okay. 4509, so it did hold area low. In fact, it held it by a couple of shekels there. But what I don't like about this, quite frankly, are the lower highs. So even if I was to take a dip trade here at VWAP, it would have to be for a quick scalp. I'm not usually seeing you swell that much. What's going on?
I'm not sweating. I'm oily, bro.
You're oily.
Yeah.
What's going on over there, Joey?
Hey, man, it's the half Jamaican in me.
It's the half Jamaican.
Yeah,
you gotta stay lubricated, huh?
I'm oily, bro. Yeah. In the wintertime, we have to lotion up, my guy.
All right. Let's move up to the big desk. We have Juan, we have Adara, and we have the Euro close.
We do indeed have the Euro close. It's 11:30 a.m., or actually 11:35 now, which means the European markets have closed in. To go over how these names moved and what names to be watching is Juan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Adara. Thank you so much. European markets basically on a structural recovery overnight. So benchmarks, they rose on massive AI-driven tech rebound. If we take a look at some of the big indexes, the Stoxx Euro 600, that was up by 0.3%. And that's based off a powerful 2% sector surge, especially in technology. But we did see some tailwinds in Germany. An unprecedented 19% wipeout in Rheinmetall, that's a defense company, despite a 6% leap in Infineon. I'll go a little bit in detail about that. So basically, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, he confirmed that Berlin canceled an F-126 frigate defense project or program. And that original deal was with Dutch shipbuilder Damen. And they shifted to ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, or TKMS. That basically surged TKMS shares by about 15%. But defense giant Rheinmetall, they plunged by a record 19%. That definitely anchored the DAX in Germany by a bit. But other than that, main headline news, of course, strong Micron earnings boosted global AI confidence. That helped lift Germany's Infineon by about 6%. And that's pretty much it from the European markets.
Well, that's it for the European markets, but we'll see Juan again at 3:30 p.m. to talk the Asian markets. Thanks again to Juan.
Yeah, the European markets as well. Interesting because the Germans specifically, putting the brakes on military spending, which sent a lot of these military or defense names down yesterday. It looks like what's the name of the German leader there? I remember it used to be Olaf Scholz. No,
you're asking the wrong dude.
German Chancellor. Let's go. German chocolate? No, not German chocolate. German Chancellor. What's his name there? Friedrich Merz. Yes, the Merzi. So he was actually looking at doing a lot of military spending, and then we had talked about that, right? Europe rearming, the Germans are back, right? Oh no.
No, but dude, it's across the board. Remember I told you I watched that piece, how like it's not really talked about, but they're really starting to rearm in the Arctic, even our country.
I believe that.
Carney, right? My boys call him we call him Bart Carney.
Did you see he got booed hard at the game yesterday?
Probably.
I didn't anticipate that.
You think he's doing a good job?
BC's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
BC's 50-50.
Bart Carney. Bart Carney, but because
got
all the
booed. It was so good.
I like calling him Bart.
I don't dislike Mark Carney, just for the record, even though I'm not a liberal.
But Norway and our country ourselves are really starting to arm the Arctic.
You have to, Joey.
because the ice is melting. There's new pathways.
We
and
talked
everything
about the
there.
Arctic Passage, man.
Passage, man.
Canada's gonna print on that.
You think? Oh yeah, sending oil,
100%.
sending oil across
and
there,
whatever,
man.
Joey.
Sending over there.
Merchant ships of all kinds, this, that, and the other.
Man, I really like Norway, man.
Maybe we should get a job up there, Joey.
What do you want to
There
do?
could be some industries burgeoning up there. You never really.
You want to go over?
They pay well up there because nobody wants to live up there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something, but it's probably borderline illegal, which I know.
Well, we're not going to take any products through there.
Why?
Well, because they may be
But it's
monitoring.
legal here.
This guy. Get out of here, man. What is going on over here, man? What is going on? Check your boy out over here.
Yeah, check him out, man.
All right, man. Joey, we're watching ATAI just pump back into 81s. It's just it's not ready to go through that flat top break on 80, so I'm going to have to pack the patience. Now, I did step out of AIIO, and I took all my money with me because it lost 410. You recall my thesis was that there was a 410 buyer. Clearly, I was wrong. And I got out of there before I suffered any damage. And here comes $4. And I'm not buoyed for a possible ad here because I'm seeing way too many topping tail candles. And that to me, at least anyway, given the current price action of lower lows and lower highs, combined with the topping tail candles, makes me feel like that there is a seller here that we can't outdo, meaning buyers can't outdo sellers. So we'll continue to watch this one, see if it sets up in a bit of a better way, perhaps at 4 holds, perhaps even VWAP, right? I wouldn't even mind a move back down to 385. And a move back down to 385 would actually jive with the price action. I perceive a couple of bull flags here. Let me make my point. Breakout 930, boom. Consolidate 5, 10, 15, 20, boom. 1005, consolidate 5, 10, 15, boom. And now the top end of that range, I see the second bull flag to be 385 to 390. So if it does lose 4, I could be a buyer at that level. We'll see how that cookie crumbles. Other than that, guys, I'm not really liking anything. Let's bring down the scanner. Let's go through it line by line, see maybe something pops up that is not crappy. Let's go through line by line here. That's ILLR, AILO, ATLN. We already know about that. Joey mentioned it. That's zigging, zagging a little above, a little bit below 1. NEXR we spoke about. XCH has seen better days. It's literally trading at the low of the day. HELP we cannot trade. Neil, is it possible to put in a ticket for HELP? Because HELP is blocked in our system. I think Neil doesn't hear anything I'm saying at the moment. This one, SAFX. This is the one that I didn't put on the side chart because it was really low vol, right? 50 pennies. It's only done 2 million shares on the day, but it's broken out here through 50. How's this one? ATAI. I like this one a lot better. Let's put ATAI on there. We're going to take off GALT, ATAI. This one looks a lot better. Hold on. Yeah, we already have ATAI on, Joey. What am I doing over here? Yeah, we already had that on. I'm like, I like this one. I'm in it.
That's crazy.
You forget what you're in because there's just so many names.
Have you ever looked?
ASTN, sorry, that's the one I meant, Joey.
Have you ever looked for your cell phone with your cell phone light? I've done it like once or twice. I did it once.
Have you actually?
Yeah, like when I was younger.
No, but I have
my cell phone.
asked people at the gym where my headphones are when they were on my head because I was wearing a hat, so I didn't quite feel them, right? But no, I didn't see them, man. I wouldn't have asked if I saw them, but I have made dumb mistakes like that. But, we can make up for it with these good trades. Joey, ASTN looks a lot better here.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, some weird stuff, man. I remember when I was in Dallas, my boy, he comes up to me, he's like, man, have you ever, argued with yourself in the mirror, like when you were drinking and stuff? I'm like, no, man. And then now I see videos of it all the time. Have you seen this
How about
stuff?
you just... I have.
It's like, but they think it's somebody else. It's like you knock into a mirror and they're like, "Yeah, what are you doing?"
That's crazy. No, I thought you meant was talking to yourself because I have a pretty robust internal dialogue.
You talk to yourself all the time.
Internally.
Yeah. But not out loud. You're not out loud.
No. Like sometimes
when you're on your own and stuff.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I always think things through,
Yeah.
right? You know,
It's a high
kind of
move,
how it
Joe.
works
Yeah,
there.
Becky. Joe is a non-aggressive.
Yeah, man, and I think you're supposed to have a good internal dialogue there. I mean, what's the sense in?
You're tripping, crap stock. Let's head over. Yeah, we can take a look at Palantir for you. Yeah, trust me, you're gonna see the videos. It's weird stuff. Watch this. Let's head over to PLTR. Let's see what we got going on. I haven't done the do in a while. Man, Palantir, 100 smackers here, Sharif, on Palantir with a high of 209, 50% pullback. Oh my days, this is getting ugly in this bad boy. Now listen, it's the same narrative in which I was referring to here in a couple of the other ones. If the chart is showing you, like my boy Jesse said, just trade the chart, it makes your life significantly easier. If the chart is telling you that you're gonna be weak, then you have to look to, I don't know if you have a lot of confidence in it. I'm going to be buying some more. I want to average down a little bit, but at some point you have to come to the realization that, hey, I can't do it anymore because the underlying asset isn't doing what I don't want it or what I want it to do. And I'm just praying to the trading gods themselves that we don't fall. Wow, Sharif.
What happened, man? What is this? Microsoft? Yeah, I saw it this morning. I was doing a story on the European regulator investigating Azure, and I was looking at the chart. I was like, oh boy, yeah, it doesn't look good, brother.
Man,
No, I know.
like, what do you do? Man, it's really unfortunate because I feel like as a top name, I think it's fourth from a market cap standpoint. I mean, it's almost in your nature to just perform relatively well. We're always going on like over a year where we haven't really done anything, guys. We're back to 2023 levels. So I think that's really scary, especially when you have a top company like that and something that's been a market leader for so long not performing well and for an extended period of time. And like that just brings me over to trash flicks, like Netflix. I'm so happy to have got out of this bad boy, especially with like a 90 average and just sells off and just deploy that cash.
I haven't liked a lot of the decision making with that company, putting Asha Sharma, no gaming experience, just an AI background, putting her as the head of Xbox when you already had a lot of discontent in gaming. You're like, look at who your market is, man. A lot of the gamers, they don't want AI slop in their gaming, right? I was speaking to Fabian about this. A lot of them are acutely aware that the gaming industry is sort of going through mass layoffs, and they're getting rid of a lot of talent, and they're adopting AI. A lot of these optics are not good for the company, man. So and that's just one thing. But Nadella, apparently, if you believe the reports internally, he wants everything to be Copilot centric, including Xbox. You see what I'm saying?
Really?
So he wants to AI,
but from a
AI everything, from what I understand, which is not a bad. Look, dude, you can do that, but you can do it like gradually, so that there's not pushback.
Not just
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know, man. I haven't owned Xbox for a couple of decades at this point. I just don't know how much Xbox actually weighs within the fundamentals.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
Giving an
It's a small,
example.
it's just a smaller segment within the company. There's obviously bigger issues. I mean, behind Copilot. It's definitely out of all of these AI tools and LLMs, it has the least amount of monthly active users. Me being a large percentage point of it, right? Like, and I don't even use it anymore. So I don't know, man. It's tough times.
I see what you're saying.
But I think at some point, listen, we see the consistent leapfrog of just from a placement standpoint between all of these LLMs. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that shuffle continue.
I don't disagree with that at all, man. And yeah, to build on your point about Copilot, I think there's just a lot. I think it's the CapEx. Oh, we forgot to mention the CapEx, of course.
Yeah, big time. But the thing, it's weird because it's like Azure was going through a pretty big growth cycle. You're seeing double digit, and I think they missed by like a couple of basis points, right? And then it's like, oh, okay, well, Azure's not growing at the pace that we don't want it to, but yet it's at like 25 or 30.
Exactly. A good point. All right, AIIO, zigging and zagging with 4 here. Another failed attempt of the high of the daybreak, but it's back in to this 4 single digits. So I put it below prior bar low. Prior bar low is 398. So that's an easy task there. There we go. We're in at 08s. I'm looking for another move back up Here, let's put a beak wetter at 12s, and then we'll put a beak wetter at 15s, and then maybe even 18s, Joey. If it loses 96, I'm out of the trade. Simple as that. HELP is making a move here. Okay, so here for those who can trade HELP, this is now breaking out back above 6, a very clean hold, mind you, of $6. Now, it has taken out multiple prior bar highs. I think it's still dilly-dallying here with the 614 level. It is at 614. That's the topping tail candle at 1115. We clear that, then we're really only looking at some of these prints here at the fifth of a dollar, with the ultimate high being the third of a dollar. So continuing to watch HELP. Shout out to anybody who took that. We'll continue to watch that, and we're still holding ATAI for another move above 80. It is very much an 80 seller here. You needn't to be a chartered market technician to see all these prints here reject off 80 pennies, Joe. So that is kind of the look there. ASTN, I did mention this. I haven't done anything with it, but I want to talk about it here for a sec. There it is. So kind of bull flaggish, right? And we saw this one break out in the right at the open yesterday. Good look. You guys mentioned that to me. I didn't take any trades on it. Another good day today. Breaking through prior area high into 906. This one catches a bid. We could be at 10 sooner rather than later. And ASTN, I believe, I don't even have this up. ASTN is up only 10%, 10.5%.
Sharif, sorry, I got to interrupt you.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go see what Lethal.
Oh, I'm not in the chat.
Oh, you're not in the
No.
And then look at bro here. Bro, stop. This guy's Lethal Lance talking pure smack. Get out of here.
You gotta shame him though. You can't just shame him off camera.
I don't do that, man.
You gotta shame him off camera. He doesn't even look that bad. Zoom in on that. Control.
Listen, man.
Get it, Lethal Lance.
All right, man.
He's down your alley. He's got the tats in
he's got the tats and
Okay,
everything.
okay.
All right, man.
Get it,
well,
Lethal
clearly
Lance.
you are. He's like, who's watching? Well, you are at this point, my boy. But keep flexing on
Who's
the
he
gram.
flexing on, man?
He's apparently us, Sharif. So yeah. Anyway, aside from that, yeah. Blicky, you're cold, man. You're making fun of PC individuals. Let's see. Yeah, we're only messing around with you, Lethal Lance, man. I hope you're having a good day. That's what we do. We have a little bit of fun. Hope we're having a little bit of fun here today. Predictions plus magic for SK Hynix July 10th. Is that when it's coming? Oh, did you see? I think you get like $20 if you do some prediction market contracts on IBKR and sign up.
Hold on. I was going to message this to you yesterday.
About the
I think you're
prediction?
going to be very happy. No, but it's IBKR related. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Connect ChatGPT,
really?
Grok, or Claude to your IBKR account. You can now connect Chat, Grok, Claude directly to IBKR to research investments, analyze portfolios, generate trade instructions.
Oh, sick.
Using your real account data. Imagine unleashing Fable on this thing when they do bring it back, thanks to your friends there at Alibaba.
Yeah.
We no longer have Fable 5 because they kept distilling it, Joey. But the point is, this is the next move here. Like, I think
so?
you think this levels the playing field a little bit?
No, man. This is my argument. This is my argument.
Let's hear it.
What are you going to you can't tell things to trade for you. You can plug numbers in, but at the end of the day, it's not a prediction tool. You know what I mean? You see what I'm getting at?
It is though, because
you think so? I don't think so.
It's okay. When we do TA, what are we doing? Aren't we predicting where price is going to bounce and go to?
Absolutely.
So that's what it does, right? Like, I think that we can kind of give it instructions. And that's what I do with the morning note, right? Throw in the charts, right?
Yeah.
The 15, the 4 hour. And it predicts, where it thinks it's going to find support and resist. But what I do like this, though, is a little bit more of a nuance, because I like to do my research on this stuff. And this is going to give you kind of the nitty-gritty. Like the Fundamentals Explorer, super robust. We know that, right? But going through everything is pretty
painful.
Laborious. You know what I mean? So this definitely helped. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it, Joey.
Yeah, rightfully so, man. I think there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. For me, like again, if you're implementing, obviously I mentioned this, man. We're going through structural change, so I could be like dead wrong in a couple of months. Like people just doing, like for me, it was more or less a tool, so you can still use like the discretionary aspect of things. Like for someone who had no idea how to code, now I can put something from a discretionary standpoint into a quantitative thing. As for,
but that was what I was going to get to you.
Yeah.
Perfect segue. Quantitative.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to do. You got to have a math background. You got to understand how to do that whole thing.
For sure.
Does this level the playing field a little bit, Joey?
That's a very valid point, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because then you give it like the prompt instructions. You are a quantitative analyst at JP Morgan, you know, and you set the framework for it to build off.
No, that's a very valid point.
I don't know. I'm kind of pumped about this, Joey.
It would give you like AI summary. Did you ever read your AI summaries on?
I did on the thing that loads up at the beginning.
In the beginning and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's unfortunate that IBKR's customer service is
it's very bad.
It used to be a
workstation.
It used to be very bad. Used to be very good, man.
It used to be amazing.
22
during the pandemic.
Bro, you call, boom, instant somebody.
I never even called. I would go into the chat, like the live chat, and then they could connect directly to your computer and do the adjustments. It's very bad now.
I was wondering where you were at there.
Mark, 9670.
Bart.
199 super chat. Thank you very much, Mark with a C. Are you Francais? Is a Google long entry viable or falling knife? We will tell you after we get back from SEA.
Yeah, keep an eye out on this ticker OUST, Ouster Incorporated. It is still moving a little bit higher, just a little bit, not a crazy uptick. This is just coming in that NVIDIA was spotted testing Ouster test vehicle. So what is this company? It's a American Lidar technology company. So it builds high resolution digital 3D lidar sensors for use in autonomous vehicles as well as industrial. So there's a little bit of an uptick. NVIDIA was seeing testing their vehicle.
Very much SEA, yeah. Lidar, big technology. Obviously, Elon refuses to use it, as we know, right? Camera-only system. All right, so let's get to this Google question. Thank you again, Mark, for that. Falling knife.
What's up, Ramin?
So I'm assuming you're talking about an intraday trade because it's a Google long entry, right? Okay, so let's go and have a look at where we are on the technicals. So we got higher lows here. You definitely have an aggressive seller at 342. You had one before and you're having one, or you've had one, 1105 till 1155. So you've got about 50 minutes of an aggressive seller at 342. What I do like though, Mark, are these higher lows. People are buying it at higher and higher levels. Now, they're not buying enough of it to push it above 342, but we already know it can get there. The implied, or sorry, not the implied balance, the 1035 to 1055 candle did breach that into 343. I'd say, you know, if you want an entry here and you feel perhaps intraday we can get above 342, you can put your stop in one of two places. 340, pardon me, 75, that's the low end of this range right here. I'm talking about 1120 to 1155. Or if you want to be more aggressive, and I'm not saying you should be, you can place it below this area low here at 339.50. But I do like the 342 rejection with these higher lows kind of manifesting at the same time. Now, Joseph is quick to tell you that Google is his favorite name that he doesn't own.
I own it.
Oh, you own it?
Yeah, I remember I told you I bought 350.
I forgot.
Yeah,
that he likes. And, you know, if there's one stock he's been wanting to get into for a while, it's been Google. So if you're thinking swing, if you're thinking investment, think about what Joey said, Joe.
Yeah, I like it. I said if there's only one stock you could own, it would probably be that. ATL, and yeah, let's take a look at it. How are you faring, Joseph P. Options? Asked Jesse, man. Good. I seen what you said in the chat. Feel free to share. If not, I know you mentioned something about your friend who blew up a Next account. I don't know if it's more serious than that, but nonetheless, man, thoughts and prayers going over to your neck of the woods. We love Texas. We love everything about Texas, except for that you can't have Bet365 on there. I think that's crazy. Drive-through ammo station, no online gambling. All right, I mean, it's each their own. ATLN, is that what you just mentioned there? Yeah, bang, 50 million shares starting to pick up. Liquidity issues a little bit here, guys. ILLR has failed, so it is heading a little bit lower, up still 300%. Now let's pull up ATLN and see if we can get something rocking and rolling on this bad boy. Atlantic International. Not too bad. Did you try anything on Help Street? I know you're saying it was
Can't get
still.
it. No, yeah.
Still.
Yeah. We'll
All
give it
right,
a try
man.
right now if you want.
Still. 105 here. Let's see if the momentum and the volume starts to pick up. I'm not liking anything, but what I want to happen once again is, hey, just like right after the PDT rule, I want to see some momentum step back into these small cap names, man. That one day when we had like 8 names after 2 o'clock halting to the top side, that was a lot of fun. If you ask me. So other than that, Jesse, what do you got going on here, guys? It's much more serious. My very old homie from Dallas just told me his mom was diagnosed. Oh, okay, yeah, we don't want to. Yeah, man, sorry to hear that, man. It's crazy. What's up? Oh, Nick Martin, what's up? Sorry, brother. But yeah, man. Hey, you know what it does, brother. We're here. We're chilling, and shout out to. If he's anything like you, probably a cool dude, that's for sure. I programmed my bot. I wrote the knowledge. I have reading charts and also some rule of thumb. I still curate the results in the morning before the open, and that's exactly what like being able to use these tools, right? Is just taking what you've learned over the years and putting it into an algorithmic style. Okay, there goes ATLN. Ooh, selling aggressive there. Keep an eye out on this bad boy as we popped into 10s almost, but then dropped 5 cents. Just like that. Gambling is degenerate behavior. Okay, to each their own. But I mean, I have nothing wrong with it. And guys, when I talk about gambling, just understand that I'm being extremely sarcastic. Do I play sports bets? Yes, I do. Do I do it every weekend? No, I don't. It's once in a blue moon. And it's just to have a little fun, to be honest with you. So don't
And it keeps a little bit of interest in the game. Like, I don't do it because
I enjoy
I'm pretty
watching
cheap,
sports
but
with doing that, man. Like,
no, but seriously, like it does make it a bit more interesting. Anybody who's played fantasy football or participates in fantasy knows all of a sudden you're interested in teams that you don't give 2 hoots about.
You don't give
because you got their defense, you got their wide receiver or whatever the hell you got from their team, right? So I completely agree with you, and especially if it's not a problem, Joey. Like you're actually doing it as a good time, then it makes it more interesting.
What I typically bet on is like the odd UFC fight where I feel is a lock. If I think it's a lock, the chances are it's probably gonna lose. So I just do it anyways, like a couple $100. I'm not gambling something that I can't afford to lose.
Well said.
Right? Just, you know what I mean? There's a big difference, man. Have a little bit of fun. Shout out to OLG. Oh, I actually bought a lottery ticket. I won $20, right? Spend 207, win 20. That's my type of risk to reward. Let's send it off to Adara with Happening Now, and then Neil with his Sia with Happening Now, and then Neil with his lesson of the day.
Thank you so much. Before we move, let's take a look at the 3 major averages at the moment. The SPY, the triple Qs, and the Dow in the green, making that reversal back up. The SPY is up 0.3% on the day currently. The triple Qs up very close to 1%, and the Dow up again, very close to 8%. Let's talk some stories. Let's take a look at MKC, McCormick and Company. So the shares are rising after they posted second quarter results that beat Wall Street expectations. It's currently up 4.5% on the day. They reported adjusted earnings of 80 cents per share. Analysts had polls by LSEG had expected a profit of 69 cents per share. So they also beat revenue expectations, hitting $1.94 billion versus a census estimate of $1.91 billion. And they're all driven by the strong demand for spices as consumers are cooking at home, and also the speculation, well, not really the definite news on that upcoming merger with Unilever that was announced back in March. And the shares popped over 4%, but it's important to know that the shares have overall fallen 28% in the year. We're also going to take a look at MU. I want to talk about this. MU has had a massive AI-driven beat. We saw their earnings yesterday. Q3 revenue surging to $41.46 billion versus nearly $36 billion that was expected by analysts. And also from a year ago, it's quadrupled, which the amount was $9.3 billion. And management has guided a Q4 revenue to roughly $50 billion. Reason for it being AI memory demand that has continued accelerating rather than just slowing. It's also the company has also signed 16 long-term supply agreements. So we're going to dive a bit deeper into this when we get to the news segment later in the afternoon. We're also going to take a look at Apple. Their shares sliding down, as we do know it, after they announced the price hike for its MacBooks and iPads, which obviously won't be starting from today, but it's fourth also. It's his first normal move, as said by CEO Tim Cook, after higher memory and storage costs and increases had become unavoidable. After the news story, the shares went lower 5%. It's currently down 5.2%. That's all. Before we send it to the guys, Neil, what's your lesson for today?
The lesson of the day today. How about never doubt when we have something Cajun related on the menu, it's going to be delicious. Derek literally walked past me a second ago and was like, that chicken was fire. I'm like, yes, the chicken was absolutely delicious. I usually tell you guys about the lunch like at the end of the lesson. The chicken was so good that I just had to let you know. So that's not really the lesson of the day. No, it's really more about, I think, taking your shots, how, where, when, why, all that stuff, when we do see something like what happened this morning, and you get a precipitous dip in the market, and it just a complete hammer down gap fill, where if you're looking at the futures, you know, you're bottoming, the futures bottomed out where you would have hoped it would at the lows, but on the way down there, before you get there, for myself, when you're looking at Micron and then DRAM, like you're trying to pick these spots to take your shots at the longs when you get this kind of a V shape. And that's sort of the idea. You want to pick a spot as to where you enter. And I think a lot of times I always come down to like the same and similar theme. If I show you my daily chart, you can see where things fell off. You can see where I entered the first time on DRAM. You can see where I liked the entry the second time through. And they end up being key levels. Like you're playing here effectively to here, and then above here would have been looking for that top. It's not about making up price areas to engage. Like sure, you could buy down into this hoping it holds, or you can wait for it to show any kind of a hold at a key level and then take your shot. Wait for it to show a hold, take your shots. It's not rocket science. I think a lot of times we're just like, okay, I like this price level, put it in the node, or is it coming down? I'm waiting for this and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, where does it come from? Just zoom out. Like the flush at the open, there's DRAM, there's the prior lows. The first dip level, just go back to the last time we were in that price range, see that low, see that support level, where did it initially try to bounce? Then go back to the open support that same day, make sure you look at the actual open, and your support's right around where it fell here. Now, ultimately, when it was breaking down, I would have been waiting. If we continue lower and I'm still looking for a long, you guessed it, I would have been down and around here at the 72.7, 73 area on DRAM. It bounced in front of that. So when I don't get that long, I don't chase it. I'm long back above the prior support level. And if this move, like real time, if this current move can hold above the volume weighted average price, which it's at, and hold that prior 76 half level, and I go for re-entry and continuation long. A lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, I like this key price level. Maybe they like a random, maybe it's a moving average that you like, and you just flash it on your 3-minute or your 5-minute that you're trading off of. Maybe it's a Fibonacci, same thing. You put the indicator on your short duration chart that you're trading on, and you're good to go. If you're looking for key areas of support and resistance, where you're looking for it to go from one gap to the next, which is kind of the way I trade, right? Like I like to trade from there to there where I know my entry is, get myself a nice tight stop around there, and then I'm good to go. You've got to be able to zoom out. And I find if you have things that gap around like this, it becomes pretty clear. Like if I sit down and I'm looking at this in the morning, it gives me a plan. Now, had I been short, it's better because you're shorting to there, maybe re-entering to there. You might have got trapped with the last one and gone 1 for 3, but you still would have had a great day. On the other side, having this perspective lets you be patient. Because if one level goes and I'm staring this down and I see, okay, now that if we're selling off underneath 79 and I see that, I know in my head, I'm not remotely thinking about it till it's at least here. And I'm certainly not going to be aggressive on a bounce until we hit a support level. So I'm saving myself a lot of pain by sitting out the drop, looking for the dip in a price level where I have the confidence, where I have a reason to start testing it. Or if I lose, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. That's where I was going to try it. That's where the support was before. That's where we go for it when a bid starts to show there. It gives you, having that level of preparation gives you the patience in a downward press. And it's the same thing if you're trying to short into an upward move as well. If you don't do this to some extent or have the reasons, you'll be looking at the tape and just finding reasons to catch the bounce because you think it's going to go up. And that can lead to averaging in and bleeding and all that stuff and a lot of pain on the way down without taking specific shots, right? Specific shots at specific areas. It doesn't take that much effort. It could be a 15-minute, it could be a 30-minute, it could be a 60-minute, whatever it is in the higher time frame that allows you to identify those places. And it's great. And if it starts to work, like once I started seeing buyers off that level, I just kept playing with that same level, allowing it to work down if it wanted to, but just play with the same price level. And it's still looking pretty good. So there's your lesson of the day. I always say when in doubt, zoom out. But on days like today where it's really extreme to the downside, and the best part is you could have been doing that work as we're flushing. You could be zooming out on stuff and taking your time and just doing it in real time. Better if you do the preparation before, but you had plenty of time to be able to catch some of those bottoms. Good luck, everybody. The market wants this 1%. Maybe we get all the way back up to the top. The way Micron's holding the 12,000 seems like it's a pretty decent possibility today. You can't discount the dip buyers. You really can't. But you have to be patient and find good places to take shots that they are actually going to be there. If you just guess, you're going to be in trouble. But if you do your work, you can be primed to buy the dip. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock. Send you back to the boys.
Couple different stocks to be aware of right now. I just want to mention some of these stories before we go back to the guys in the midday. Google on Watch, they announced a new finance app. It's going to be available on their app store and also iOS. Robinhood could potentially be competition for this, but they're just continuing to trade higher, so nothing massive. This new Google finance app is called Portfolios, by the way. It will be launching apparently starting this week within that Google Finance platform. Also, worth noting, we have more comments here coming out of the Middle East and I guess from the U.S. and Gulf partners. USO still near high of days. And we know we had comments earlier with Israel, specifically Defense Minister Katz, saying Israel will not be withdrawing from Lebanon. With now Iran coming out and saying that that's a red line for them if they don't get that Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon. So this could actually now be impacting the U.S. and Iran deal. That being said, U.S. and Gulf nations releasing a statement saying that Lebanon talks will not be affected by other conflicts. So we'll have to wait and see. Just be aware here, guys, as USO hangs out near the session high. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Guys, huge shout out to VinFast for sponsoring today's video. They just announced a massive partnership with AutoBrains and NVDA to bring level 4 agentic AI autonomous driving to life. We're talking next-gen intelligent tech that is completely redefining how we hit the road. If you want to see what the actual future of driving looks like, click the link in my description and check out VinFast. Today, mi amigos, there goes, a nice little breakout here in NVDA, guys. The market really starting to scream a little higher. I was looking at IBIT, a nice curl over. VWAP buy after the multiple tests and holds seem to be the narrative, so things aren't looking too bad here as the market and some of these big tech names start to recover, Sharif. So not too bad of a look. Is Bitcoin going to follow suit? Pull back. Let's get over to the lower time frame and into some of these details here to see if this is going to give us an opportunity to get involved in the cryptocurrency ETF, the best performing ETF, the best ETF launch of all time is this bad boy right here, but it's down in the dumps. You kick us when we're down, Sharif. There's nothing that we want to do but rise. Let's go. I am being completely sarcastic, and that was a horrible spiel, but let's see
You
what
see your
happens
friend
here.
Portnoy?
What's Davey saying?
I know you're on X, right? You're only on X at work though, right?
Yeah,
Is it
bro,
on
I
your phone?
can't even on here because it just freezes my computer.
It freezes your computer.
Well, yeah, what do you think? You don't think I want to have the same news that you guys get, but I can't. It just shuts down every time.
So your friend Portnoy there.
What's Davey saying?
He's like, Bitcoin bulls. Remind me again. Well, but I'm gonna like put a little caveat at the end because he did caveat his statement. To be fair,
Okay.
He's like, Bitcoin bulls. Tell me why you think this thing is going to $1 million because the bears think this thing is going to zero, and right now, to me, it looks like it's going to zero. This is what he said.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming he got a lot of pushback. Something I'm paraphrasing, by the way.
Yeah.
He got a lot of pushback, so then he kind of replied to his own post.
Yeah.
and then put under it. He's like, but I'm holding it to 0.
Yeah,
Which I thought to be
Davey, man.
hilarious,
That's my
right?
guy, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind
Anyway, get it,
good old
Portnoy.
Davey. We like Davey day trades, man.
Yeah,
The market is that much better when Davey day trades.
Davey day trades. There goes AIIO into the new high day. And guess what?
What?
We added a bunch of times defending that same level I've been talking about the entire time, 410. There's a buyer there. We didn't quite add into 4, so I'm a little disappointed in myself in not having added there. But now it's a new high day into 429. I'm starting to think a third of a dollar because we've cleared the $0.25, not by much, but we have ATAI as well, also knocking on the door again of 480. And guess what? We added back at 470 again. So here we are accumulating for a possible flat top breakthrough 480. ATAI suffers from an affliction that a lot of these small cap gappers suffer from, a lack of volume, and we're going to need plenty of that to get to 5. We're going up to Adara.
Oh.
Keep an eye, guys, on MSOS. Looks like a couple minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, specifically, the Marijuana Herald reports that according to a Trump advisor, President Trump is continuing to support the cannabis banking reform, including legislation that was filed today in the U.S. Senate. This advisor further telling the Marijuana Herald that President Trump was planning on publicly backing it, but that'll likely happen more after the rescheduling process concludes. So more comments here on marijuana and cannabis-related legislation, MSOS in focus. Back to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I'm pretty sure, I don't know the specific details on it, but there was something from a regulatory standpoint here in Canada in regards to marijuana. Did you read about that?
No.
Just about like some illegal production, but yet how like illegal stuff, how they want to kind of shut that down a little bit more, but how some
They're still around? Legal weed? Really?
Yeah, of course, man.
That, yeah.
So, but
Bro,
another
the legal weed is super cheap and super strong. What is the sense
why
of
would you
legal
go
weed?
into the black market,
I don't
right?
understand.
Yeah.
When you don't have quality control.
Right.
Guys, marijuana is super cheap here. Like half the price of what you would have paid on the illicit market. Let's just use an ounce, right? About 28 grams. Give or take, right?
What's the difference?
That is like it used to be $200, 200 Canadian.
You say
if you
illegal.
got that off the black market before legalization, it's like $100 now, man. Like you can.
How did you know that?
How do I know? Cause I'm alive, right? No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, what
is.
is
It
the
is
point
cheaper.
of buying
illegal
weed?
full disclosure, I don't even really
Never
care, man.
understand that, man.
It's like, dude, you could get 2 for 10 right now. Back in the
get
day,
2 for a bunch,
or like right
Joey.
now, 2 for 10.
Yeah.
Two 1Gs for 10 is what I'm getting at.
And guys, and there's a race to the bottom too. Like they're constantly undercutting. So hold on. Initially, they were trying to undercut the black market when they first came out, 18, 19, right? Their competitors were not each other because there wasn't that many to begin with. Talking about marijuana stores, their competitor was the illegal market. So they had to keep dropping their prices so people would change their buying habits. Now they're competing with one another. And it's almost a race to the bottom. Let me undercut you, you undercut me. And now it's just not profitable. And you're seeing a lot of these guys close. So I don't really know. I don't want to be in that business, quite frankly.
You don't want to be in that?
Absolutely
No, but
not.
that's the thing. They generate they generate actual like a lot of revenue, but the margins are so low on it that just
the margins are
dude,
profit.
I wish. Yeah, sorry. I've seen this meme. Unfortunately, we can't play it on here, but I'm gonna show Sharif. I literally watched this video probably like 30 times, and it just had me laughing. I'll let Sharif watch it here.
How I'm moving after taking
a life-threatening hit off the Pen Affleck.
What even is that? Bro?
Yeah, man.
That's good, man.
Those videos, yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me chuckle.
Yeah, that's the stuff that made me laugh, bro. I'm just like driving home, coming from the outdoor workout gym, just laughing because I watched this video, the Pen Affleck, and a lot of people are saying
Still hitting that Humber workout gym?
Yeah, that's where I go when it's not raining out, man. Summertime, because there's no windows in Liberty Village downstairs gym. So I need to get outside. I told Selena, you don't understand. I'm actually slowly losing my mind. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm like, okay. Then when I actually do something about it and you get upset, I don't want to hear it at the end of the day.
Yo, just let her know she needs to be a little bit less quiet, or a little bit more quiet in the morning.
Yeah, I know, man. Jeez, man.
Bring that up, change the subject.
The Benjamin Affleck, man. I'm trying to hit that Pen Affleck. That's crazy. I don't.
All right, man. We added right back at 4 on AI going here. It's ripping up again. This is a multiple ad day into that $4 area. Here we go again. Into 17 it goes. Great bottoming tail candle. About a hammer candle going. Still waiting for the 19 prints. Let's go ahead and put some at 23. Shout out to my man Jordan. We're looking for a nice move here through the third of a dollar. It's a 429 high, but as soon as it hit 429, it moved right back down into 4. I took advantage of that, and there it goes again. Right through 20 into 22s, told y'all. Looking now for 25s, and then there goes 25. We get the beak wetter there. Let's go ahead, set up a little bit higher. I'm going to go 28s, and now we're going to look for 30s, Joey. We're going to look for 33s. There's 26, accumulating for a possible breakout. Still below the high of the day, mind you. Seller at 27, 28. Looking for a bigger move here, not immediately getting it, but very pleased with the ad on AIIO. Accumulation at the $0.25. Looking for a price spike, 27s. Looking for a little bit more here. Keeping an eye on the bid to see if there's anybody coming in on the bid to backstop a possible drop. Seeing a 25 buyer here that keeps reappearing. He's lost. 23 it is. Okay, so there's a little zig and a little zag. This one, come on, ATAI, man. I've been waiting. I've been adding. I've been waiting. You're disappointing me, ATAI. We're going to take off a little bit here because you keep coming into 80 and you don't follow through. Bruh. So continue to watch that, Joey.
Yeah, Blicky, man.
You're making me crazy, says Rich Buddy. Yeah, man,
it's
I know.
crazy,
Well, it's not making me crazy. I'm just.
Ramin called me a liar.
Oh. Yeah, she always tells the truth.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So,
That's okay.
Thanks
Joe.
for the mango juice in the fridge. There.
Oh.
Drink that.
5-finger discount?
No, she gave it to me.
She gave it to you.
Yeah, that's great. We're
I would
friends.
have tasted a little bit better if you took it, Joe.
Do you think so?
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
It's that it's not allowed kind of taste that I'm all about.
All right, let's take a look at
gotta-
IBIT. Yeah, we're going to send it over there momentarily. I want to talk about this here. We can hold our breaths for a couple of seconds. I'm not going to be that long. 33.70. We're going to wait for that pullback right below the volume-weighted average price. Maybe we can get some momentum. A 3-bar play happening here in IBIT. Let's see if that holds up, guys. We're starting to come back. Someone said, Joe, you should be long NVDA. I was long earlier this morning from 10 a.m. We're now out of that position. It's unfortunate we didn't get this leg, but it is what it is. Let's see what Bitcoin has to offer here now. Let's send it off to Sia.
The IBM currently up very close to 1%. We're going to take a look at individual tickers for today. ABSI APC currently down almost 2% on the day, jumping after positive interim phase 1 data from its headline trial of ABS 201, plus fresh analyst target hikes that have also reinforced this AI drug discovery. And ALIT Alight down 0.20%, not crazy, following a 1-for-20 reverse stock split plan and supportive analyst commentary as well. And finally, we have KYMP rising 18% on the day after it completed an enrollment in a mid-stage trial of its atopic dermatitis treatment candidate ahead of schedule, which accelerated a key data readout. That's all for your small cap.
Thanks very much for that. All right, I was looking at ASTN, and that is an inverse ETF for ASTS. So looked exactly the opposite of this, but we can kind of, you know, I don't typically do this, obviously, but we're going to look at possibly trading ASTS here. Reason I was looking at this, again, I mentioned because I was looking at the inverse ETF, which is up nicely. But I was looking at taking a dip trade off the volume-weighted average price on ASTN. That would be the exact opposite on ASTS. Now we're getting a retracement back into the volume-weighted average price, and we're also putting in lower highs. So I'm starting to think maybe perhaps I should take something below that 65. That's a prior area low. So the prior bar here, the 1215 bar, 65.59, and the low 65.04. I want to base my entry on one of those numbers, but we got to go up to Adara because there's breaking news.
Massive pop here for Bumble. It is currently halted to the upside. We're up about 50 cents, which for a $3 name, quite significant. Reuters reporting that the company is not only exploring a sale, they're also hiring Morgan Stanley to help them with this process. So again, MS hired by BMBL to explore the potential of a sale. We know there's been slowing growth in the dating app space. With that in mind, BMBL reacting pretty strongly to this news, to put it mildly. Back to you.
People still use that thing? Interesting.
Hey man, it is what it is, man. You gotta hop on the old online ski and
Yeah.
see what Tinder will buy, says Taylor.
It's like Hinge is eating everybody's lunch.
Hinges.
You know what I mean? I didn't even know people still use Bumble.
Bumber.
Huh. Bumber.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to.
That's one for Neil though, obviously, because that's a buyout.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
he's
say
gonna
an
be
app, an
no.
app for
Come
Neil.
on now, bro. I'm not gonna do that to
No,
my man. He's a married man, happily married,
Happily married man.
But he does love his buyouts.
He does like his buyout.
You're not about that buyout life? Of course you are, man. I wouldn't do you
man.
like
Get
that,
outta here,
Neil. Man,
man.
come on, man.
Hinge banned you, said Tony. Okay.
Bumble is hot garbage, says no name.
Yeah.
Hinge banned me? Why did you do, Tony?
Bro was probably making fake accounts.
Oh boy.
All right.
Probably it's probably being rude, Joey.
Oh, he got reported.
Yo.
That's crazy.
All right,
all right,
time,
Amy.
guys.
Come on, man. Why do you gotta damper the mood like that, Amy?
Why you gotta go and do that,
Do
love,
that,
huh?
man. Why you gotta go and do that? All right, man. Let's see what we got going on here. AZI. We're in
Oh,
some
baby.
IBIT. That ain't doing too much, but I like our chances here above the volume-weighted average prices, and I don't have too much confidence in Bitcoin. Maybe we can head up into 34, or we head back in towards the lower end of the range here. We just put on a little bit of size just for some fun and games for the folks back home, man. It's been a pretty good one trading NVDL here today, so let's see if we can find some form of a continuation and a runner for the remainder of the session. Let's head over AAL. Doing its thing, man. AAL doing its thing. Bring up Adam James' super chat as well, too. How to train your mind so you won't do emotional trading like FOMO for revenge. Follow stop loss, profit booking. Wait for setups. Trade without fear. Okay, let's start one thing at a time. How to train your mind so you won't do emotional trading like FOMO and revenge. You're going to have to go through the ringer multiple occasions to the point, and this is my perspective, right? Completely subjective. You're going to have to make multiple mistakes to the extent where you tell yourself that you don't want to do that anymore. All right, follow stop loss falls up into that realm. For me personally, that was like risk management 101. Get out when you're supposed to. It makes your life significantly easier. Profit booking, stick to the trade plan. Wait for your setup, stick to the trade plan. Trade without fear. The fear will always be there. And don't forget, you just have to face it head on. You always have those nerves. You always have your stomach churning and everything along those lines. Just understand that really it is almost black and white. It's either it's going to work or it's not. Send it over the desk.
Meta on watch here, not a massive move as of yet, but I think certainly an interesting story here. Axios reporting that Meta's Super Intelligence Labs, of course, is run by Scale AI co-founder Alexander Wang, is hiring the founders of Virtue AI. I looked into this Virtue AI company. Apparently they do enterprise AI safety, so kind of in that security space. Either way here, META making some more AI hires as reported by Axios. Back to you.
It looks like another dollar well spent there by your friend Zuck.
I didn't even hear what Adair just said, to be honest.
They're hiring some people.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Poaching talent?
Intelligence, super intelligence.
Yeah, but good thing. Hey, but man, good
the
thing.
Virtue AI founders.
Bro, what do you
He's
think?
done a lot with Scale, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but bro, you don't use MuseSpark every day?
I don't.
Good thing we got
And have you noticed?
Kylie on the team.
Well, I know you're not on Facebook or Instagram, so even if they did make improvements to the algorithm, you would know. But they have it. If you go on Reels, it is still a far inferior product to TikTok. Inferior in every way.
Yeah.
So it's like he was supposed to be using a lot of these GPUs to help with the what's it called, the predictive and the sort of the algorithmic thing. It just sucks, man. It's like going on.
Weren't we both talking about how the morale is really low over there, even though we have no idea what's actually
you're absolutely right. No. Some people came out and leaked it. Yeah, they're increasing the spend on your snack budget.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to give you more money for laundry, cleaning, and your Uber allowance is increased. Like they're doing all these things to boost morale because you're asking like PhD level engineers to do AI labeling, bro. I mean it's beneath them.
Yeah,
So
I understand that, man. But good thing we got Kylie Jenner on the team now. So that's a big time needle mover.
I did like that. I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good. Look, bro, whatever she
Listen, she has a massive,
That's exactly
massive,
what I was going to say.
massive addressable market.
Yeah, and
for sure.
Zuck, I was watching an interview yesterday. He's like, she had input into the design. Like, she had input into the colors. She added her little touches to that. So even though I don't really know much about her, I know enough to understand that she's influential enough to be a needle mover.
I told you I like Kylie. A lot. She used the name correctly, right? Like, I mean, she built this massive, massive company in cosmetics.
Right.
So she has a lot of a total addressable market that maybe Zuck is. And you know what, Sharif, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, it's small win after the other. You just eventually build this big team. It can turn into good things, right?
Yeah.
I just think you're going to need a little bit more.
I wouldn't bet against Zuck, but we also have to call a spade and say that he hasn't performed that well when it comes to AI. That's just the truth.
Yeah, of
but I
course
wouldn't bet against him. It's like almost like Elon. Like, I'm just, there's certain people you don't want to bet against because they have such, drive and longevity.
Yeah. My issue, and I stated this before, is that I hope all of his spend and all of this doesn't turn into a metaverse 2.0.
He was able to navigate that, Joey. I mean, it wasn't good, obviously.
Well, he dropped it pretty much, man.
But they're still there.
Reality Labs. But but where all the cuts are coming from Reality Labs. It's like we're not hyper focused.
But don't these glasses? Are they not part of the Reality Labs? Like all the Meta glasses?
Yeah. All of that stuff. Yeah. But that's where all the funding is, so he can fuel his AI spend. Is coming. Like 100%. so much is coming from there.
All right, ASTS kind of accumulating over here. I want to take a shot at this, even though I don't trade these large cap names. What's the market on this, by the way? Market cap. 25 and a third billion here. So I'd have to give it to about 65.75. That's prior bar high, but we're seeing a couple of doji candles here, both of which turned red. So I'm going to give this the old community college try. We're going to go short, and we're going to give this to 65.80. So that's what we're going to do. What do you got, Joey?
Let's see what we got here, man. We're still sitting in this IBIT trade. Bumble looks like it wants to halt down now. BMBL. Let's pull up this bad boy, BMBL. Maybe that would be a good, that probably was a good pop to fade. Okay, it's not, though. It doesn't look like that just yet, but potential buyout here. No, I'm not going to be trading this whatsoever, guys. Let's just get that clear. Right now, even though it is a little attractive here on this pullback right back towards the volume weighted average price. What happened is, did this halt and then it opened right back up again? So let's keep an eye on this. Maybe there's going to be a good opportunity. I mentioned, and you guys can see for yourselves that we're in this IBIT trade, just small potatoes, and then sure enough, it's starting to sell off aggressively. NVDA doing the exact same thing. Lower high established on the SPY. So what we have here is maybe the financials are starting to show some signs of weakness, but we're still holding up in the NASDAQ. Memory names really doing it well right now, so can't complain about that. And I'm not surprised about what's happening in IBIT. Like, who's kidding who? I should have just shorted this thing anyways. So I'm glad that we just have little pennies on the dollar. See ya.
Thank you. The SPY is currently up 0.14%. Let's take a look at the sector. Electric tech, we have starting with red. NVIDIA down 1.5%. Apple continuing to slide 6.3%. It's technically its worst day since April this year. We saw the price hikes in MacBook as well as iPad news that came out today. MU currently up bright in the green, 16% after that solid earnings beat. We have AVGO currently trading flat at the moment. AMD in the green. INTC down 1.37%, even after Goldman Sachs initiated coverage on Intel with a neutral rating and $150 price target. In tech services, we have Google, Microsoft, Meta in the red again. Microsoft down 3.58% on the day. We have also EU, the news coming out that EU targeting Azure, issuing preliminary findings that Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services, that's AWS, should be designated as tech gatekeepers under this new digital competition rule. So that in retail trade, we have Amazon also down 3% at the moment, Meta down 2%. In finance, we have BRKB, one of the biggest names in the red, down 1%. JPM, Visa, MasterCard currently trading flat. Visa, JPM, BAC, MS all in the green, up almost 1% and above. We have producer manufacturing, heavily everything in the green. Pretty strong sector for today. AMAT, LRCX, AMAT up 10% on the day. CAT up 5.56%. GEV also up 4% on the day. Health tech, we have Lilly, J&J, ABBV, all up in the green. Lilly's up 1%, J&J up 1.4%, so pretty bullish over there. Consumer durables, we have Tesla currently trading flat at the moment. Utilities, I would say, again, a mixed sentiment with a bit of gray, a bit of red, and a little bit of green. Consumer non-durables, we have P&G down almost 2% on the day. Energy minerals, everything looks it's not standing out. XOM and CVX trading flat at the moment. We have process industries, a little bit of green pop. Health services, we have UNH up 3%. Commercial services and communication, along with process industries, a little bit of a mix over there, but a lot of green. Overall, I would say market could improve, but not the worst. Sending it back to you.
Very much for that, Sia. And also, Jesse, thank you for that valuable information as well, too. Yeah, Bitcoin, it looks like we're going to have a short. Let's just get out of this one, man. I mean, it's such a little paper cut here. There's no point in us even holding on to. I mean, we could hold on to it, but for what, right? Like, I just don't think we're going to get that bounce. Market's really choppy right now, if you ask me, and it's been like that for the past couple of sessions. So it's been a solid one. Like, we can do a little trade review. It's just funny because I put such small shares on this bad boy just to see if we're going to get a little bit of a move into 34. It didn't work for us, so that's all right. We'll hold on to it. If it does break through this 33.50 level, then we just get out of dodge. We talked about a support level on that night in that specific area, anyways. Trade review. Currently, we're working on the position board, guys. Don't worry about that. It'll be up momentarily. So trades for today, I just typed in Amex. But what we're going to look at is DRAM. That was my first trade on the day, and it was a... That's all right, though. You get out when you're supposed to. We're long at 79s, roughly, and then we get out at 78.30s. So less than a buck there, and it continued to sell off a little bit. Then we hop over to NVDA, one of our favorite vehicles to trade, and then... bang, we started out of the gate. Bang, it's always a good feeling when you go 0 for 2, but then you just stick to your plan, and then sure enough, like I mentioned, so if I'm shooting at a 33% clip rate, which I was, even less now, a 25% clip rate, and we're still nicely green on the day, so we're not going to complain about that whatsoever. And same thing, right? Like, stopped out. We are looking for that immediate snapback reversal. Didn't happen for us. Patient, allowed the selling to cool off. But as Hangry Wife was just mentioning, neglecting volume for quite some time, when we literally say it is one of the most important things on your chart, is you need to understand the correlation between volume and price. And things were just in our favor right here. So boom, a nice move. Add. Why? The volume was telling me that we might have an opportunity to climb a little bit higher, and then eventually we just come back to a little bit above the break even, and then we get out. So this is definitely our best performer here today, Sharif. Now, as for IBIT, we're just doom and gloom maybe on this bad boy here. We don't have any big expectations on it, and we're okay with that. 33.50, we talk about that. That level breaks. Then it's AC Slater once we get to or once we break that level on Bitcoin. Now, is this going to be the pullback? We have 20 consecutive minutes, NVDA to the downside after a nice recovery off of that 191. You hit up to 197 at that high, and then you're now starting to curl over. But I said there's a couple of things that we obviously want to keep our eye on. As I typically do, in the corner of it, we have SPY. Look at this correlating right with the 5-minute opening drive, followed by a pivot establishing that lower high, and another one an hour later establishing a lower high, where it's almost the inverse on the NASDAQ. I think a couple of the sectors, obviously, within it, and the segments within it, different, right? Higher lows, lower highs. So what do we do here? Flat bottom break potentially there, Sharif, on the SPY. But if the big boys decide that they want to continue to recover, then we might see a little bit of a rally in both of them. Before we send it back to our boy, let's head back over to see how Apple has been doing today. Oh.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's all right, though, man. Get involved in this. Apple, we were talking about it down 5% on the day, 6 1/3 in this bad boy. Let's see what we got on the daily. This isn't the first time we've seen that, but this is a pretty aggressive selling day.
Look at this guy, man. He did this to everybody.
Oh, that's rude.
Did you ever
man.
see like the video that they put before when they're introducing the referees, and then they have like the VAR refs standing there, and they're all like just static,
Yeah.
and it's just like wondering what the hell they're doing. So this guy took advantage.
So let's before you
Hold on,
talk.
just 1 second, Joey. Just 1 second. ASTS on the way down. What do we have here? Assassino, the position board's not working, brother.
Yeah, I know, we
65.46. All right, sounds good. 65.46 is what we've got. We just went the beak here at the whole dollar, right around the whole dollar. Single digits, looking for a little bit more here. SpaceX also dropping quite aggressively, down 2 1/4. Could be a sympathy play here on ASTS. It's down 4 1/3. Again, you know, this is not really my wheelhouse, but I did like that ASTN one, so I was going to take that one long. That's an inverse ETF, so taking some nice prints here. Looking for a little bit more on this one as down it goes again. Keep coming down, baby. Let's go. So keeping an eye on that. Very, very happy with how we did here on AIIO. So many ads on this one. All of them were profitable, with my most profitable being that $4 dip. And then it popped into the high of the day, and I do have the high of the day on this one, but alas, it's right back at 4. It's not going to find a buyer in me again, though. I promise you that. I also got out of ATAI. So we were talking about this one possibly brewing for a flat top break at 480. I got tired of waiting, I got to tell you. And also, it was putting in some lower highs, so I had to be alive to that. Now we're looking like we're using 470 again. If 470 continues to hold, I'll get back in, but I'm not immediately excited to jump back into that one. Looking for a print here on ASTS below the whole dollar. While I wait for that, you guys can hear about this.
Keep an eye here on AAPL, hearing a little bit about how this company is planning on rolling out their new chips. Apparently, they're going to be testing a low-end MacBook Pro with a regular M6 processor, but they're also then planning to introduce the M7 Pro Max Ultra variants. Lots to keep an eye on here. Apparently, they're not going to be releasing the high-end M6 Mac chips at all. They're just going to focus on the low-end M6 and then trying to improve and work on these AI-driven M7 chips. They want to be better aligned with AI workflow demands. Also, Apple is poised apparently for its worst session since April 2025. So well over a year. That's what I'm seeing. Again, AAPL to the downside after announcing ahead of the bell that they will be having some price increases. We already knew these were coming, but now we have more details. These price increases, as we mentioned before the bell, they're going to be impacting iPad and Mac, certain variants of both those products. Back to you.
Still defending the whole dollar here, Joey, on ASTS. Looks like there's a buyer in and around 65. So I just wanted to point that out because this was also a level of resistance. You'll see multiple moves into 65, all of which rejected. Then we got back above it, right? We got to VWAP, rejected VWAP. That's what pulled me into the trade. But be on the lookout here for the 65. I want to say double-digit, single-digit buyer, low double-digit, high single-digit buyer. But if 65 gives way, we could be down to 64.5. But 65 will have to give way first on ASTS, Joey.
Adam, how are you going to tell me to look out for this name here and there's like no liquidity? Oh, I can't. I literally can't trade that. So I don't know. Let's see what we got going on here. ISQ2 watch. Yeah, dude, what do you want me to do? I literally can't do anything.
Get him, Joey.
Oh, I'm not even on the right ticker. Sorry.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
That would be
IQST.
Yeah, IQST. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Thank you, Adam. I take everything
Get it, Adam.
said back. Let's keep
65
our eyes
on
this
Astas.
one. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to get out of this Bitcoin trade here momentarily. I don't know why I just decided to take an L on this bad boy. Is it selling off? It's giving up here, though. That's not good. We'll have to wait for buyers to step back in. I'll play the $1.63 break on the momentum side of things. So let's pull that up. We'll get Bumble off of our chart. Excuse me. IQST. So let's see what we have here on the NASDAQ.
You had Bumble on your phone?
No, on the chart here. IQST, $1.64. If it heads up into there, what I want to see is the volume and the momentum really start to uptick. And then, sure enough, if that break happens, then we're ready to rock and roll. I'll actually get my my punch ready, and I'll
Joey.
I'll go heavy on this.
He's gonna go heavy.
Anyways, like, cause I'm feeling that type of way, man. When you're rolling, you gotta go with the punches and continuously do so. 6.4%. Jesse's stating that that's pretty happy. How many samosas you eat today, Randy?
Yeah.
6.
Louise, bro.
That's nothing wrong with that, man.
Leave some for.
Get it.
I was gonna say something that could have got me in trouble.
Veggie and save some for the rest of us.
Yeah. No.
I know we don't want any.
That wouldn't got you.
That wouldn't get you. Vegetarian.
But look at this.
Hold on, man.
Oh.
You got
I'll wait. It's fine.
But it's selling.
In a good way.
Oh, you're short.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
position board's not up. That's
I
why we
know.
don't. That's why we don't know. So Sharif is short ASTS. That's the inverse of Rocket Lab, you're saying, or something along those lines.
ASTN was the inverse. I couldn't get into that one.
Okay.
So we took ASTS.
Yeah. So ugly day here in AAPL. Nothing I got going on. I have my eyes on QST. Adam, we're starting to rock and roll here, brother. Dare I? Yeah, I'm doing it right now. We're
What are you
live
doing?
right there on QST. Shout out to our boy Adam James abroad, healing pain naturally. My boy, there it goes, a nice little uptick. That's what I'm talking.
I know, Hangry. I know. I'm crazy.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, Hangry's like, he's trading mid caps. I know. I'm a psycho. No, I think trading small caps probably a little bit more psycho than trading mid caps, right?
Think so?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
It's all psycho.
You don't think small caps are a bit more volatile?
Of course.
Right. They giveth and they taketh away with both hands.
Like
so,
what QST is going to do to me right now.
let's look at that, Joey, because I didn't. This is a good one, and I said very little about this one. So we're gonna take off Health.
Oh yes, sir, Sharif.
Pumped.
Come on, break it.
You're pumped.
Break it.
IQST.
Yes, sir.
Let's pull this up. Pull up. All right, let's add it to the
garbage.
side chart so that it updates, and let's do some TA. Okay, Joey, let me tell you something, my friend.
Tell me something.
Let me tell you something. You take out that high a day.
That's what I'm getting at.
You take out that high a day. Did you see that candle at 9 a.m.?
No.
The candle at 9 a.m. is shadowing the official high a day. The high there is 164. The high a day 164. So you got a great rounded bottom. My only concern about these ones are the failed VWAP retake, and we see these a lot, but usually they don't clear by 9 pennies. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So that's what I was saying to Joey. If you can get that move above the high of the day, then you do two things. Number one, you take out prior bar high where we know the sellers were selling, and then they were selling before as well at 9 a.m. So that would mean something substantial, at least to me. So I'm going to keep a close eye here on IQST. If it takes out high a day, maybe even a little bit higher, 69, just so that we can kind of rest a little bit easier with respect to the resistance level. I'm going to get into, man, because, there's the pickings are slim today in the world of small cap gappers. So if we can find something that's moving here, we'll get involved. But right now we're being crazy because we're trading mid caps. But right back above 65, ASTS goes. Full disclosure, only have a few beak wetters left. Did pretty good on this one. Happy, but want more. I'm looking for a breach of that 64.75, or at least a move down into 64.75. And that's not a random area because it's the $0.75. That's area support from prior. That's why I'm aiming for that. Now, the low of the prior candle, 64.91.5. Okay, so you could get that sort of $0.75 touch, even though there's about 15 pennies between those levels. Sometimes, when we talk about the whole dollar level, we talk about it coming close to the whole dollar, not exactly touching the whole dollar. And that to me would, count as the same. But anyway, here we go, 95, 92. Let's see if we can take out 91 because 91 was prior bar low. The spread's opening up a little bit here, but it's manageable. I just want to see some 88
Oh my
down.
God.
It goes.
Wow, what criminal activity that was, man.
On IQST?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey, that's what these things do, brother.
It's all Adam's fault.
But there goes ASTS down into 81. We've got 52s on, baby, and we're looking for more now. Now I'm going to wait for $0.75. Let's see if this wants to fail some more. And we added twice on this mother, you know what, okay? So we're looking for a little bit more. Let's see if we can get down. If the 3/4 area doesn't hold aggressively, like if I don't see an aggressive buyer there, I'm going to hold for the $0.50. So continue to watch this one. Let's see what ASTS wants to get down to. By the way, low of the day, 63.72, but I submit to you guys is the real buyers at 64. It's a triple bottom there where it found support right around 64. So be alive to that if you're waiting.
Welcome for Adam, for what? What am I welcome for, man? We might get rocked on this bad boy. I have to give myself like a loss from top, obviously, because there it goes. Adam,
Joey.
Thank you, my boy. He said, "You're welcome, Joey." I said, "For what?" And then sure enough, we get a nice little pop up there. But we're rejecting 164 pretty heavy, dude. That's not something that I want to see. Let's see if we can break through
Maybe you
this.
can accumulate and break. And Joey, if it breaks and there's a lot of there's an aggressive seller there,
Yeah.
he's going to get squeezed.
He's gonna get squeezed.
Yeah.
I mean, I already
I'm not
seen
saying
him
it's gonna
step.
happen, but be on the lookout.
You said it was gonna happen, man.
Did I?
No,
Did I or was it Adam that said it?
It was Adam. It was all Adam's fault. It might be Jesse's fault too, to be honest.
can
That's
blame
why I know you're having a
Hernandez, yeah.
bad day. No, Hernandez is having a bad day. He's having a tough day, so we'll be
Why?
light on him. Just some
my
bad
bad,
news
Jesse.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. We all show love to Jesse.
Jesse.
Blicky and the Spears. I'm seeing Blicky in the chat earlier and early every morning, which I like to see. So,
Absolutely.
And Adam, let's see what we got going on here. We can't break this, dude. I'm gonna try to diamond hands this. Like, I mean, I don't have anything crazy, but it's not like some shares. We don't want to lose too much on our day. Then I might have to shut myself down at some point, just in case things don't work out how we want it to. We don't want to continuously give away all of our profit. We want to walk away with something here on the day. We don't want to flip this boat around. That's for sure. That would be very bad.
You ever flipped a boat?
Have I ever flipped a boat?
Yeah, man.
A canoe, I have.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Sorry.
I've upset
Have you?
plenty of canoes. Yeah, in rapids.
I flipped a small boat with my old man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we went to Florida in '94. And like, you know how St. Petersburg, Tampa is, right? Like they've got like the lagoons on the inside and then it kind of cuts into the beach.
I've never been there. So
Anyway, so we took a boat there. We're doing a little fishing. And then there's this monster boat that comes beside us with like a huge wake.
Oh,
right?
shit.
And we're going like this, and my dad's like, hey, isn't this fun? Right?
Yeah,
and he's like thinking that I'm loving this. I'm like, I don't want to drown, dude. We tipped, right? I'm like, oh, and we started taking on water.
Yeah.
Oh my days. Yeah, that was no good.
You don't
Guys,
there we go.
ASTS
Bang.
coming
Thanks,
back
Adam.
into highs. Watch out for the $0.50 break here. The $0.50 break comes in, I'm out. We're going up to the big desk.
Joey, learn.
Thank you. The pound heading for its worst monthly performance against the dollar, making one of the key pressure points for today, keeping an eye out on that. Also, Brazil's central bank is in focus after publishing updated inflation forecasts and pushing back on the market confusion over the policy horizon as well. Also, a Reuters poll showed short bets on the Indian rupee as well as the Indonesian rupiah, also easing after the oil prices lowering and policy support reducing this kind of pressure on both these currencies. We're also going to take a look at the dollar, pulling back a bit today, the DXY slipping below its opening level and sitting just under the top of its 52-week high, currently trading around 101.37 region, down 0.23% on the day.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. See, I'm joining you, Joey. You have a lot better of a price, but I got 69. We'll look for a move into $0.75. But I was telling Joey off camera, if it loses 60, the 60 area is what I mean, sorry. Given how much it was using that 60 area as resistance, and I'd get the hell out of there. So be on the lookout for that. But good trade, Joey. Get it.
Yeah, we'll see what we got, man. I'm only sitting on what am I got here, about 20% or 40% left in my position. So we took the majority of it off. We'll lock it in. Thanks, Adam, for that one. But yeah, as for, dude, I told you that story a long time ago about how I used to go on a lot of canoe trips in the summertime.
Yeah.
And we would go down rapids in our canoes. And one time we hit a pillow rock and we upset and I saved the buddy's life. That time. Well, in my opinion, I saved his life anyways. That could be a different story. I'm pretty sure I did, to be honest with you.
Okay.
He was trapped under the canoe and I lifted it up. Yeah.
Did he buy you something, Ali?
No, man, we're in the middle of nowhere. You got to understand. And so actually what I've been doing, guys, is because I miss those times in life is I was looking for like an adult venture thing because I was a lot younger at that age when I was going on those adventures, and like I'd be on the river for weeks at a time, right? Just portaging. You have your dry sacks and all your dry food and everything along those lines. So I was actually looking into something where I can just go back and be one with nature, because they used to call me the nature boy back in the day. So I would like to go back.
Were you yelling woo?
Woo! No,
you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
I know. No, not at the time. I wasn't. I was actually singing. We were singing like gospel tracks and stuff, canoeing and stuff. And okay, we're all out of this bad boy as it's starting to come back in. So good stuff, man, and great times. Nothing like Canadian cottage country. There's nothing better than it, to be honest with you. You head up north, and it's some of the most beautiful landscaping you'll see. We're all out of this one. We did get stopped out of 40% of our position, but thank you for pointing that one out, Adam. It's some good stuff there. $28. Sorry, not $28, $1.57, and then all the way up to $1.70. So we're happy about that one. Let's see if we find some form of continuation.
All right, man. You've been to Prince Edward County?
No.
Been out there?
What region is this?
So it's kind of like, I would say, in between Kingston and Toronto.
Oh, yeah?
I'd say probably just like right.
Oh, okay, so it's
right
like
outside Toronto.
northeast-ish?
It's just take
Yeah,
401 West. Sorry, 401 East.
Yeah,
My bad,
east.
401 East.
Yeah.
Prince
Been there.
Edward County. My cousin's cottage is in Brighton. Dude, there's this Sandbanks beach that you can't get to with a car. So you have to take either the jet skis or the boat, and it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how packed this place is, especially
The
since it's not
dunes?
accessible.
Is it the
by-
dunes? Not the dunes.
It is. I think it is.
might be the
Yeah,
dunes.
it's like sand beach,
yeah.
sort of,
Yeah.
a little bit. You'd be surprised how many people come to that place, especially when there's no car.
Yeah.
So you have to figure everybody else is gonna
boat.
be like waterborne to get there. So
Waterborne.
it's one of the sickest experiences, and it's the one of the most beautiful places, I'd say. And even though it is Lake Ontario,
Yeah.
it doesn't give like
big time, dude.
no,
Big
right?
time.
It gives
Yeah,
off
yeah,
like
yeah.
very much cottage country vibes, man. I love it.
What was Grandma doing at the dunes? You know what that's from?
No.
The chat will here momentarily.
SLS is
I thought we're
breaking
going
out,
over.
guys.
Are we going over there?
Yeah, we are, but we got to talk about SLS super quick. The breakout is on right now. This is the structure. Be on the lookout. SLS ripping up. Sorry about the charts, up 18%. Let's go up to the big desk.
Keep an eye here, guys, on MSFT. Microsoft officially raising Xbox console prices around the world, announced on their blog. This is starting on August 1st. Much like Apple, they're citing storage and memory cost increases is the reason for this. Xbox Series S up $500. You're going to see $600 increase here from $400 to $500. So $100 increase here for the Xbox Series S. $100 for the other terabyte Xbox Series X, and then the Xbox Series X could be rising here by about $150 each. So $100 to $150 per console price increases here for MSFT for their Xbox. Again, coming into effect August 1st. They're saying that console sales usually don't even generate profit for them. So interesting note here for MSFT, memory price concerns continuing. Back to you.
Not the console sales that they make the money from. It's the licensing, obviously, with the gaming. So that's kind of how that works. Go ahead, Joey.
Good stuff, man. I mean, I'm thinking about getting back into this IQST, but
It's holding 50.
It is holding, and that's
which
the
is a
reason
higher
what's
low
kind of
relative to the prior bottoming tail candle, right?
that's what's kind of attracting me back to it. But I might head back towards NVDA land because there's a couple indecision prints. Gaurav, I seen you in the chat there, man. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring what you said. Are you still in the chat? I haven't seen Los Polios here today. But yeah, you say, hey, man, listen, you're pretty, you know what you're doing. You got everything going on, man. It's just the narrative. Had to be patient on this one, and every signal truly wasn't definitive. To be honest with you. So it made things a lot more tougher to find a bottom. You had to be patient and allow things to cool off a little bit, but I don't need to tell you anything, man. You know what you got going on. You're long Tesla on the 5-minute. It's down 0.5%. Man, I just don't love Tesla right now. I just feel like we're kind of in this place within the actual asset itself where it's tough. And it's like, I'm over here crapping on Microsoft and NVDA quite a bit. But I mean, we know that a lot of people made a lot of money for quite some time here in Tesla. But let's not forget the fact that this stock is actually pretty dang volatile.
Oh, yeah.
So from 19 is where it minted, but think about it. You go all the way up to $410. Then during that bear market, you lose 75% of the value. And then it takes like multiple years to even break through that level, right? So you bottom in 23, and then you don't break it again all the way until late 24. And then now you've just been chopping around. You're at those levels. You're literally at levels, you are actually at these levels back in 2023, just like Microsoft, right? So you have to be patient in some of these big names.
No question about it, man. AIIO is losing the volume weighted average price. Be on the lookout for any dip traders there. It lost 4, and now it's losing VWAP. So be careful with this one, okay? Also, keeping a close eye on, not ASTS. That's the short there. We already got out of that. ATAI, really got nothing positive to say about this one, but there are new ones. ATLN is making a move here, so let's bring that in on the side chart. Not quite at the high of the day yet, 117 double top, so high single digits, and you're getting that kind of already pressure again, 113. It did take out this topping tail candle high at 11.55, so that's a good sign. Also, it's been a lot of higher lows, so you can kind of see the trend locally there. I'm hesitant to say it's respecting the 10 EMA. It's really not, but it is putting in generally higher lows. So ATLN in focus, and the one we called out before we went up to the big desk, SLS. Sorry, this one keeps freezing on me, so we'll just kind of wait for it a little bit over here and see if it can. Yeah, there we go. Great look. 1086 high, showing 77s now. A buyer could step in at the $0.50, which is overlapping with the 10 EMA. Also, I would say it's a zone, 1050 to about 1045, because the topping tail candle is a rejected 45. So SLS in focus. If that fails, then you're looking at a bit of a deeper retracement. I'd say there's a buy zone here from about 1020 to about 995, and I know that's a wide zone, but I have to take into account this area high, and I have to take into account VWAP, which is about 4 pennies below $10. So $10 probably would be the better psychological area of support. So that's SLS. What else is there? IQST is failing here. It looks like it's going to be a failed VWAP retracement into 171. And the thing is, it clears 165. So this is quite bamboozling. It's losing. I think it's almost losing this $0.50 level. Did it? Yeah, it did. It got into 148. What's this area low? 147. So it's still not below this candle low at 1240, but it doesn't look that great. Now, it could be a buyer at 145 because we did reject that area multiple times, but it's not going to find a buyer in me there, as that will be breaching my rules of taking something long south of the volume-weighted average price. So yeah, that's all that it is right now. Not really much else going on for me anyway. What are you looking at, Joey?
Same thing. Talking to my boy, Gorev. Joe Shreve, will you cover MU or did I miss it? No, man, thank you. I mean, you didn't say please or anything along those lines, but it sounds like you are a humble individual because you're okay to pass it up if we already went over. So with that, my friend, what we shall do is we'll go directly and take a look at MU, and then after for my boy Gorev, we're going to take a look at some Microsoft. Now, I mean, we talked about it. The earnings are great. We're talking about exponential growth here, right? Couple areas where we can see and talk about something similar like that cloud growth between Google Cloud, Azure, Amazon Web Service. You see that massive exponential growth. And NVDA went through that big time growth. AMD is going through it right now. So from a fundamental standpoint, you're just seeing kind of a structural change within this company, I think for the next couple of years or until late 2027 anyway. So another year and a bit, you're going to see some big time numbers. Now, don't forget, NVDA also printed some big time numbers on their previous report. Stock did absolutely nothing. Eventually, we talk about this all the time, we remain forward looking in the stock market. So now that you have this insane guidance, you're increasing EPS, you have $100 billion in RPO, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about momentarily as it is now 1 o'clock. Eventually the market will price those things in. It will catch up to what they believe is fair value. And maybe you'll see a little bit of a slowdown, but for right now, you continuously ride this wave that is the shortage and the bottleneck of some of this memory play.
All right, there goes SLS. We got 80s on, and here comes 11. 1098 high on SLS. It's not up big, 19.5%, knocking on the door of 20. I have a beak wetter at 1099 to test liquidity around the $0.50 or around the whole dollar, pardon me. Then my next profit taker is north of 11. If it loses 80, I'm out. It's going to base my entry here on base my stop, pardon me, on my entry. Not something that I do typically, but you know, we'll keep it tight over here because this one could retrace aggressively if the whole dollar rejects. So down into 89 it goes. So there is profit taking here to be expected. If any part of this trade goes against me, I am out. And by the way, very pleased with my out on ASTS because look what it's doing now. Oh, baby. It is back and taking out local area highs. Here comes $66. So be on the lookout here for ASTS if you were short that. Sorry, just want to go back to my, yes, SLS trade. I just love an $11 breach here. At least, you know, on a wick basis, that'll get me a couple of profit takers. We'll wet the beak right around there. 96 showing up again. Joseph options with 97 close by. 98 is the high of the day. and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a breach there. So profit taking initially, pushing this one back into the high to mid 80s, or sorry, yeah, mid to high 80s, but no continuation, sadly, through the whole dollar. 97s again. No, nothing.
Yeah, damn.
ILLR is making a move as well. Shout out to my man Stuart. Yes, this is making a move. And here it is. It is breaking trend. But Stuart, I feel obligated to kind of give the same spiel that I've been doing for a long time, because I say this from painful experience. These prolonged downtrends that end up breaking the downtrend line are, in my humble submission, are 9 times out of 10. Let's go 8 times out of 10. If you really want, I'll compromise to 7 times out of 10. They will be bull traps. Okay. For example, it'll make a move into 4, maybe 4.15, 4.25, and it'll lure you in, thinking, all right, the good times are back. Here we go. The buyers are stepping in, only to have that breakout candle lose, because the prior bar will lose that candle low. And we've seen it so many times, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen this time, but you have to be alive to that eventuality. And they typically happen at key levels like a 4.5, 4, whatever, right? So be on the lookout for there. And there goes SLS, Joseph options through 11 into 11.06. We got 80 on this bad boy. We're still holding, and we're looking for more. So SLS on the way up, about 20.5%. Now, Joey, I didn't get that dip trade though, man. I put a dip trade there at 60. The market laughed at me and, went along its merry way into a new high day. So be on the lookout for there. Shout out to my man Stuart. Here comes ILLR into 4, guys. Be alive to that, okay? Because it is making a move here. And look, if it clears at 4.5, I'll take back everything I said, because that will make it a lot more likely that we are going to take out that 530 high. If we can take out 4.5, look at all these prints here. No closing print below 4.5. So that, to me, immediately yells a key level of resistance. I hope everybody prints it. Look at ASTS rip up. I couldn't be more pleased here with my short, man, and the out as well. Look at this. It's taken out all the levels. ASTS is now only down 2.5% on the day, Joey. So keep tabs on that as well.
All right, man. I got my eyes on ILLR as well too. Gaurav, I don't want to look at Meta. It's probably not pretty, that's for sure. Down 2% here. I thought, I honestly was thinking that we would find somewhat of a bottom, but it doesn't seem to be the narrative just yet. Oh man, no, Gaurav. Yeah, we're probably gonna head to. There it went, Sharif. What a dog, man. I know. It was a horrible trade by me, man. Small potatoes on this bad boy. Let's see if we can get that $4 break. I do think the trajectory that this name was on, I was gonna head in onto 76s, but it was Hesitation Nation, and then I started talking about Meta here and how this dog has been doing us dirty. But the volume's starting to really pick up its pace, Sharif. So I like that with ILLR.
Yeah, I'll be a buyer with you as well, as long as it clears 450.
You're in north. That's the high of the day, right? Or the
high of the day is 530, Joey, because it wicked up there super quick at 955, but it doesn't have any closing prints on the 5-minute chart north of 4.5.
Okay, cool. We took a little bit here, guys. Once again, this is small potato. This is 5% of what I had on that Q trade, literally on this one here. Now, as for Meta, yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Like, look at this name. I thought we were gonna have some buying pressure step in. That has not been the case whatsoever. Being one of the largest holdings too, I'm like Zuck and company. I have so much confidence in you. What's that? Completely off topic. Who's that guy who? All right, yeah, we'll get over there. I'll ask the question. We're
good to go.
Okay, you're good to go?
Yeah.
So you know the individual who painted the original office of Facebook, and Zuck gave him a bunch of like a ridiculous amount of shares when the company first started. He paints half his face red. The chat will know. Well, anyways, this guy made $400 or $500 million off of just decorating or painting the arts guy, the painter, or painting a mural in the actual office itself. Years and years ago, and he's just been chilling. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times as well, too.
I don't know.
So yeah, that would be nice, man, if something like that happened. But
a lot of
he's a different
Facebook
talent,
millionaires, very similar to kind of like Tesla, especially, SpaceX, where if you were in super early, You could be like a cleaner, whatever,
Anything.
right? And when they went public, I think it was 2012. Was it 2012 that Facebook went public? Something like that. Yeah, they all minted, man. They all minted.
Did it really go public in 2012?
so.
That
I'm
long
not
ago?
100%.
We could probably figure that out.
Yeah, Gemini. Let's check with Gemini over here, Joey.
Well, think about it. Now, if you're a cafeteria employee,
when you can show my screen so you know. When did Facebook go public on the stock market? Let's think something else. I'm pretty sure it's 2012. Yeah, May 18th, 2012. Yeah, I remember that. It was FB. Remember? It was so good.
Yeah, it was
and Meta
FB,
was an
man.
ETF. It was a metaverse ETF.
I owned it. I had it like at $100, man. And then he went through that issue in the teens where I was like, oh, okay, then maybe this platform's not what it is. And then
The metaverse or Facebook?
Facebook.
In the teens?
I had it at $100, $100 and something bucks, but then in like 2017 or 18 or whatever.
Oh, God.
right, like,
I wasn't even in the market at that time, man.
Dude, yeah, I was. My boy just said, man, start buying stuff, and then I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to jog my memory on why I was buying Facebook and buying some of these names. And to be frank with you, I have no idea.
Well, I mean, like, if you're not like a market, savant. If you were just a passive observer, like think of all your friends that ask you about crypto and ask you about SpaceX. You were that person one day. We all were, right? We were the ones like, I remember asking my friend about weed stocks in 17 and 18. Like I didn't know anything about it.
No,
and he's listing off these names. I'm like, I'm gonna go home and buy them. I didn't buy anything.
Well, that's what I did. I was I don't know, different person, man, a completely different person from them.
You know what time it is though, Joey?
It's time to do the news.
It's time for the news segment. So let's get ready to go. Sia's ready to go at the big desk. We're going to send it to her. Let's start talking.
Let's start by taking a look at Micron. I mentioned this earlier in the show, but we're going to dive a bit deeper. It's delivered another, as you know, massive AI-driven beat as well. Fiscal Q3 revenue surging to $41.46 billion versus the expectations of nearly $36 billion. And it has quadrupled from a year ago when the revenue stood at $9.3 billion. Management has guided Q4 revenue to roughly $50 billion, again, well above expectations. The reason being AI memory demand, which has continued to accelerate rather than slow down. MU has also signed 16 long-term supplier agreements that have spanned data centers, automotive, as well as industrial customers that represent $22 billion in future commitments over the next 3 to 5 years. Analysts are also estimating roughly 40% of future revenue that will be coming from these contracts, with minimum pricing, improving earnings visibility, as well as reducing a downside if these memory prices continue to soften. MU with that is up on the day, 16.5%. Adara, do you have anything to say about MU?
I do, and I really just want to talk here about the memory growth and the level of memory growth, because if you guys saw yesterday, I was on the wall during the window to the wall segment around 2:30 or so, and I was looking at Micron's revenue Q1 and Q2 combined. Now, what's crazy is for each of these segments, the Q3 revenue is larger than the combined Q1 and Q2 revenue was. Like, this is crazy sequential growth, guys. I've literally never seen this, and I love doing these types of infographics. This is like, I was floored. So you've got 306% year-over-year growth for Q3 in cloud memory, 652% shocker here at core data center. Mobile client growth here is 253%, auto embedded, 310%, total revenue growth, 346%. I thought this was staggering, so I just wanted to solely focus on that memory growth. Again, guys, the smallest amount of year-over-year revenue growth for one of these segments is 250%. Great look. Hats off to Sanjay Mehrotra and crew over at MU.
Let's get right down to it, baby. This is a huge, huge report. I'm sure you guys haven't heard that at all. And the guidance here, I can't even believe the guide. The guide for Q4, $50 billion or thereabout. And just to compare that to the current quarter, 41.46, pardon me. So sequentially, that is huge. But let's talk about the $100 billion in upfront commitments that they got from the hyperscalers. And yeah, they haven't seen all that money yet, but they've seen about $18 billion of it. And guess what? That $18 billion, non-refundable. And a lot of that is gonna help with my next point, the CapEx, right? They gotta get to HBM4. We've been talking about HBM3 but the Vera Rubin stack now is based on HBM4. So they're going to have to spend to get their clean rooms and their production facilities ready for that product. Otherwise, they may not be doing business with NVIDIA for much longer. And they're going to spend bigly, as our friend President Trump would say. $40 billion is what they're gauging they're going to spend in all of 27. Compare that to the $27 billion that they said they were going to spend in all of 26. Now that's peanuts compared to the 180 and 160 and 150 that some of the hyperscalers are spending. But these guys are the input product, right? And a lot of that, increase is just pure profit. It's not even increased costs from their side. Now they're going to have a balance sheet adjustment because of the capex, but the costs are not increasing on them. And we know that for a fact because we're able to see their gross margins. I spoke to you guys yesterday about the 81 and change % gross margins expected for this current quarter. But what we got yesterday was 84.9. Like that, to maybe the neutral observer, that doesn't look like a big difference, but it is a big difference for the bottom line, because we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here. So 84.9% gross margins. Just compare that to NVIDIA's, as I mentioned in the morning. That is ridiculous for a physical product. That is something you typically see in SaaS models or software models where there's no physical goods that you have to expend money on for input costs. But their mobile and their business unit grew. It grew nicely. In fact, they actually have higher margins for their mobile and their business unit. However, analysts are of the opinion here that they've mathematically reached the cap that they can actually pass on to some of their clients. Think of like the Apples. Think of, anybody else, NVIDIA, whoever else is buying from Micron. And the reason they're saying that is the mathematical limit is because they don't think their clients, like the Apples, the NVIDIAs, can pass on that kind of cost increase to their own consumer without demand destruction. So that's what the analyst view is taking here, that if you get higher margins and by extension of that, higher prices, it's going to be like oil, right? Where oil gets to a certain level, all of a sudden, we see less people pumping at the fuel stations. So that's the last part there. And then the fifth part here is something that I already touched. They're going to have to spend bigly here to get their capacity ready for HBM4, because HBM3, at least now, Joey, is a thing of the past.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about just growth within a company. You can just look into the fundamentals, pretty basic metrics, EPS, and you're looking at the guidance here as well. Just absolute insane numbers. What's really going to drive this is, I believe, is the 16 long-term agreements. I think that's what you want to see, longevity within those specific contracts. Fantastic stuff. And then you also have the fact that there's 4 stages that their involvement with Anthropic here. Now, they released all 4 of them, but a big-time investment, $65 billion into the Series H round here for Anthropic. So they're teaming up with one of these big AI startups, which I think is huge and what's going to drive them and continuously drive them for the longer duration. Micron's been up substantially, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point the market is going to price things in. But if you can get any form of a pullback, then I would be looking to get involved. And if we're talking about things from a forward earnings standpoint, still relatively cheap here, guys. So 16 long-term agreements, massive stuff. Partnership with Anthropic. There's a lot going on for this company, and I think it's going to remain that way for the next couple of years. Send it back to Sia.
Thank you so much. Let's take a look at our next story right now. Apple, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to take, again, a deeper dive about what's really going on and what changes are they making. So syncing on the Mac and iPad price hikes, it's currently down 5.27% on the day. They have announced a price hike for its MacBook and iPads, which is its first formal move to pass higher memory and storage costs on to consumers after CEO Tim Cook said that the increases had become unavoidable. Like I mentioned, shares of Apple have sunk around 5% today as a reaction after the price change, which is one of the worst falls they've had since February. So consumers from the company comments from the company, have included that the consumer electronics industry is facing an unprecedented challenge, and also that the rapid expansion of AI centers has created an extraordinary surge in demand for memory as well as storage. We've never seen a component price increase this much this quickly. Therefore, bear with me, please. Latest change coming from Apple. MacBook Neo now was $599. It's increased to $699. MacBook Air 512 GB has increased to $1,299. And iPad Air, that's 128 GB from $599, has gone up to $749. Sending it to you.
Okay, so I have an unpopular opinion here. All these products don't matter. None of them matter. They're all tiny for Apple. The market is reading through these specific price increases and they're superimposing that on iPhone. And they're worried that there's going to be a bigger price hike on iPhone than the market was anticipating. That's why we're selling in this way. All these products don't matter. Okay? They're not a needle mover for Apple. And this was my concern, that there would be a huge price increase in the cheaper models, because that's where a lot of, Apple's revenues generated. Now, my understanding was earlier that it had leaked from the company that they were going to kind of try to account for these price increases using this next strategy. They're going to funnel their users some way, somehow, perhaps by having exclusive AI features on the Pro models. They're going to have a bigger price increase on the Pro models, and they're going to have a less of a price increase on the more standard models, and then they're going to make certain features only usable on Pro so that you're forced to buy the Pro and by extension of that pay the higher price. Whereas they're going to lose money, or I don't know if lose money is the right term, but make less money on the more standard iPhones so as not to kind of lose that market into the future. That's my understanding about what Apple's strategy was going to be going into the fall for their latest iPhone cycle. I'm thinking this probably has an effect as well as on the iPhone Fold, which we were expecting to be $2,400 to $2,500. I think we could see 26 or 27 now that these price increases have kind of been announced. But that is my take, guys. These products are not a needle mover for Apple. The market is looking at the price increases on these specific products, and they're superimposing it into what the price increases will be on the iPhone. Joe, that's my take.
I'll send it over to Adara there. They wanted to say
I didn't hear?
Yeah, sorry, no, I got something else.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. This is not news, but I know, and I appreciate Sia letting me talk on this because I have opinions on the Apple situation. So I think this is, in my opinion, less of an Apple story and more of a story about the memory situation. So you've got these Apple prices, all of these increasing by, I think, like $150 to $300. Xbox increasing their consoles by $100 to $150 a piece. These announcements coming out in the same day. Now, Apple, I mean, we already knew this. Like, Tim Cook literally said this in an interview a couple weeks ago. We knew these price increases were coming. The market is usually buy the rumor, sell the news. I guess in this case, I think it's a little bit of the opposite. We had the reaction, maybe more so, on the actual confirmation of this coming out. And so for me, it's interesting, given the timing of Micron earnings, you have this massive blowout for Micron. It's a great look. Oh my gosh, Micron, memory, chips are so exciting. But what about the consumer cost of that, especially with inflation? Now, I'm not trying to be like all doom and gloom, like, having my own Senate banking committee here. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is point out how interesting the timing of this is. And I think what it says about the cycle we're in right now, where things can be really, really great for one sector of the market in terms of earnings, in terms of money being made, but then also have some drawbacks, I think, longer down the line for consumers. But I think in the shorter term, for these consumer tech, like consumer-facing tech companies like Microsoft with the Xbox and Apple with these iPhones, I hope that makes sense. But I do think that we have to address how fascinating the timing of this is when you've got these announcements coming at the same day that the reason this is happening, the memory, is showing up in the woodwork. So I was fascinated by this. I hope this made sense. Joe, I don't know if you wanted to talk Apple here as well before we go back to Sia, but there we go. That's my thoughts on Apple.
No, I agree. I tend to agree with both of you on both sides of things. Some of the products are needle movers, some of them aren't. But at some point, Adara, I do agree to the fact that, with the increased price of memory, the actual companies themselves can only hold on so long before passing the increase in pricing to the consumer. And we're already starting to see that through the iPhone Pro Max, another $100 there, and some more increases across the board. So, it is what it is. Unless you're involved with the stock, you have to understand, even to hold on to some of these margins, you're going to have to see companies like NVDA really start to increase some of their prices. So. It's the nature of the beast when you have demand outweighing supply. But eventually, with the nature of how things go, supply will meet demand, and then you'll see a little bit of a cooling off in some of these things. So
Got it, Joey.
let's send it off to back to Sia.
Thank you. We're going to talk Intel. I just want to mention, just thought of something funny. This chart looks like that scar on Harry Potter's head, but it's going down, and it's just an ugly chart at the beginning. But anyway, let's talk Intel. Goldman Sachs has initiated coverage on Intel with a neutral rating and a $150 price target. So GS is seeing an upside from Intel's foundry business and AI-driven server demand, but it also believes that AMD and NVIDIA offer stronger revenue visibility, also more attractive valuations. Analysts have also highlighted Intel's foundry business as a long-term strategic asset, particularly as the U.S. pushes to expand domestic semiconductor manufacturing. It also continues, also continues restructuring its operations while pursuing external foundry customers, and all this supported by government funding as well as strategic investment. Management has also been emphasizing its AI strategy, like I said, and foundry roadmap at recent conferences as well. And with that, Intel down on the day, 0.26%.
Yeah, I think you buy Intel here, quite frankly. I think what the information that we got, separate from this Goldman initiating coverage on a name that's been around for 50, 60 years, whatever. I think you buy Intel here. I personally don't have any, but I did like what I heard from the rumor mill, of course. These are always rumors about how Apple liked the 18AP process that we've been talking about. So my information was actually wrong on this. My information was that Apple was looking for the 14A node, that's what they wanted to build the new A-series processors on. Turns out it wasn't that way. That was misinformation. It was the 18AP node that they're going to build the A-series processors on, and now they're looking at 14A for future M-series processors. So I like that deal. We've always talked about Intel requiring an anchor client for their foundry business for that to take off. And Intel themselves has said that because they need the money to spend on the Ohio fab, which is where 14A, which is their future, is going to be housed. So there was no way they were going to do that. There was no way Lip-Bu was going to go ahead and spend that money unless he had a source of revenue coming in from an anchor client. It can't be something Mickey Mouse. It has to be something big because this amount of money requires a lot of CapEx. Now, they did get some CHIP Act money from the government with that 10% stake, but I'll submit to you guys, that's peanuts. They need a lot more. We'll look at the amount that the hyperscalers are spending just on CapEx. Now, think about the actual tools you need to create that product. You need a lot of money for that. I think that's why Intel definitely needs this Apple deal, needs an NVIDIA deal, needs an AMD deal. They need big deals with anchor clients. I think they're going to get them because the political winds are blowing that way. See ya.
Perfect. Let's take a look at GM. General Motors, I just briefly mentioned the story before unveiling its new 2027 Sierra pickup with new V8 engines. And it's revealed this today with the new V8 engine options and redesigned interior as well as exterior styling. It said today it's narrowing its model lineup for the next generation Sierra to the Pro Elevation AT4, AT4X, Denali, and Denali Ultimate. So it's removing the mid-level SLE and SLT trims, which currently start at about $51,500 and $57,900 respectively. The company has also said that the pricing details for this, as well as the performance information and specifications, will be released closer to when the vehicle goes on sale, closer to the end of this year. Additionally, as well, starting prices for the current Sierra 1500 lineup ranges from roughly $41,000 for an entry-level Pro to more than $86,000 for the Denali Ultimate. With that, GE is up on the day, 0.51%.
All right. This is interesting. Are you a pickup guy?
Me?
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time, huh? Let's go ahead and do this then. How come it's not? Oh, there we go, Joey. What do you think about this?
I've always liked GMC. I think it's such an underrated truck, in my opinion.
I don't know why it's not letting me out, Joe.
I love that look, man.
You like this look, huh?
Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah, I think pickups are. Look, man, it's that whole tug of war, right? You got the kind of the environmental side where you want to lessen your footprint a little bit, and the government kind of was forcing you into that side. But then you got to make what sells.
Look at
and
that,
the
man.
pickups sell. And they sell here, they sell south of the border. You know what I mean? Ford being kept afloat by, let's just be honest, about one car only. It's the F-150. Randy, have you seen this? Are you able to see the stream right now? Okay. Take a quick look, because Sia was just telling us about the new 2027 Sierra pickup
That thing
with
is
new
nasty.
V8 engines, Randy. He saw it last week. He likes it. I love it as well. Yeah, this is what it looks like right here, man. I don't think that's that bad. Any comments, Joey?
I like it, man. Oh, did you see you see your boy Marquez?
What do you do?
He
What do
went
you
over
review?
the modular $25,000 EV pickup. He put it on it.
Oh, yeah, I did a story on it this morning. I put it under the Tesla headline.
Did you?
Yeah,
what do you
because
think
like there was
about it?
no way to put it, right? But here it is, Joey. We'll get to that right now.
Yeah, let's
Tesla,
talk
Slate
about it.
Auto.
Yeah,
Slate Auto.
man.
You want to see this? So this is
25K,
Slate Auto,
man.
25,000 EV pickup. You want to do this right now, Joe?
Yeah, let's do it right
Let's
now.
do it.
man.
Let's do it live.
Pull that
Here it
bad
is.
boy up there.
Images. I think a lot of people are gonna like this, man. I think it gives me shades of this sort of. I think. What is this, man? All these advertisements. You're killing me here, man. It gives me shades of that pickup truck that's not allowed in North America, but that they sell in Japan. Do you know which one I'm talking about? I think
This-
Randy might know it. Here it is.
Yeah, man,
Assassino
look
if
at
we
this
can.
thing,
There we
man.
go.
You know what it reminds me of? Like remember the old Ford Ranger?
Hey?
The old Ford Ranger?
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly, but look at this, Joey. It's not going to just be a pickup. They're thinking about an SUV variant as well. So you're going to have this over here. So they're just going to cover the back. So it's going to be like the Hummer EV, right? Where
Yeah.
You get
Oh,
that.
that's sick, man. I like
Do
it.
you like it, Randy? Randy likes it.
Assassino giving the nod to it.
Do we have the approval? Assassino, thumbs up on Slate. He likes it. Okay, there you go.
How about you, Tiffany? Thumbs up or thumbs down on this one?
Oh, okay. Tiffany gave the thumbs up. There we go. Tiff, can we let it run for a little bit here, Tiff?
we got
kind of show
time
this a
limit
little
there.
bit.
Look at that.
over here.
What color you
Look
getting
at that.
there,
Look at
Sharif?
that. Not bad, man. They've got the trunk there all lined up properly with what do they call that lining, Joey? I forget what they call that lining. Randy, what do they call that plastic lining?
That
in the back?
Rhino.
It's just a box line.
The Rhino Guard.
I don't mind this
You're
at
talking
all.
about Rhino Guard too, though.
Rhino Guard as
Right.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably
Rhino
an
Guard,
aftermarket
yeah.
brand, though, right? Yeah. I don't mind this, man. I don't mind this.
I don't know what
I
Ian
think
was saying.
it's probably a good move here. It's electric. It's small, and let's see
Yeah,
how they
see
do. Right?
Rhino
And
on
Amazon's backing them up, so.
Oh. Yeah, let's kill some
You want to come in on the mic? Talk a little Slate Auto. Talk a little, you know.
I
Here,
like.
let's bring this up again so Randy can.
I'm
comment on
gonna
it.
be honest. I like the what's that Ram truck there? Why is it slipping my mind? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but it's like $150,000.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah, like-
Rebel. I like the Rebel,
Here's my
man.
take. If they can build this at that price in America
Yeah.
and make a profit, why the hell can't anybody?
Can they hear him or
Why
no?
can't
They hear him. They hear
They
him.
hear him. Okay.
why can't anybody else do this? Why is that? How long?
I don't know,
Ford's been
Randy.
building vehicles for how long? 110 years.
Popular opinion, unpopular opinion, unions.
Okay, but so if they can build this and make a profit,
They can't be flexible. Like they can't cut a production line because the union will be up their rear end. They can't cut, shifts because then the politics gets involved. Look what happened here when they cut the shift. The politicians want to kill them.
Hey, you see it? You Justin?
so
Remember when Justin did that?
I don't know. I think that tells you something about the North American auto
My
industry.
buddy.
Like or dislike, jobs
dislike.
or otherwise. Yes, I get
Exactly.
it.
I'm not trying to get anybody to lose their job. That's not what I
No,
mean. I'm just
of
saying
course.
they can't be flexible because
Right.
of that. Right.
I like the style of it. I like the fact that it's bare bones, and you can add stuff if you want.
Yep.
If you don't like your wind up windows, hello 1978, they were cool. I had them. So did you. I like the throwback. I like the style. It's a square box with a motor in it. Super.
What do you think about the SUV version? This one here.
It's like the Bronco, dude.
Doesn't it look
Joe's
like the
right.
Bronco?
It's
Yeah.
like the
Absolutely
Bronco
agree.
Sport. It's very, and don't forget, Scout's coming out soon. Volkswagen has that.
forgot about that.
Yeah, they're on
Good
their way.
look.
So
ATLN, guys.
I like it.
ATLN.
I like it a lot.
All right, Randy's given his seal of approval, so
there you go.
that's all I need, quite frankly, because he's my
Oh
car
no,
guy.
Sharif, why didn't you
ATLN
mention
is
it? Why
going,
didn't
Joe.
you mention it 30
It is
seconds
moving,
ago?
baby.
ATM, where's Adam James?
So I want to hear a lot of people's comment. Farm Trader says Scout is beautiful. Victor Hoffman says looks cheap to me.
Yeah,
Vancouver Alley says
sure.
my 2000 Ranger 4x4 never dies. It kind of looks like a little bit like that. Build a wall of American corporations. Okay. Shout out to Sergio. Man, I would love a cyber beast, Sergio. One day. Ford Effin Ranger says whiskey. Get it, my man. Put production at the border, says Coffee and Trees. Maverick Killer, says Ben Affleck. This is Laser 128, says it's greed. I'm assuming you're talking about my union comment. Don't disagree with you there. Hypercube says, Sharif, I agree, but Ford corporate culture is very conservative. They won't innovate. I think that's the core issue with them. I love the comment there. It gives a bit of more diversified than just saying, oh, it's only the unions and blaming the unions. Love the comment there. Good call. Not that attractive, my dude, says Christ God's son. I respect the opinion, man. What else? Love a boxy vehicle, says Jesse Martinez, but that look like, yeah. I can kind of get behind that. What are you looking at there, man?
I'm looking at
like you're
ATL
focused over there. You're long?
What else do you want me to do? We got to be tapped in here.
tapped
Justin
in.
Gaethje said no to the truck that Arman Sarukian was going to give it to him. So, see, maybe we can get that truck sent over to you. But yeah, guys, I'm looking at ATLN here to see if we can get a little bit of a move higher. But yeah, I'm tapped in right now at this very
We'll
moment.
see what Sia thinks about this late auto. Let's throw it to Sia and get her opinion.
What do I think about what?
About the truck we were just talking about, that EV truck that's going to be $25K. What are your thoughts? You like the design? Should I put it up again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Here it is. So, think of this. This is only electric, though, Sia. This doesn't come in any sort of like internal combustion engine. It's pure EV. It's going to look like this, and it's basic AF, right? I'm just trying to get you a proper picture over here because I can't seem to find one. Here we go. We'll go like that. There we go. Open image, a new tab. What are your thoughts on this great-looking vehicle here, Sia?
This looks like a Minecraft vehicle. Like,
It looks like a Minecraft car piece.
Oh my God.
I gotta agree with that,
Like,
man. It is
I'm
a little
sorry.
boxy, though,
I
right?
have been told that my face is very expressive, so sometimes I try to be
Yeah, I think that said it
neutral.
all.
But no, I think as much as I love the environment, cars and trucks are meant to be heard if I can't hear them, and if I can't see. I'm sorry.
We like that opinion.
I'm sorry, that's my opinion. And if I can't, hear my VIP coming from maybe a kilometer away, I don't want it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
A kilometer away.
That's a pretty fair standard, Joey. I'd like a couple of kilometers, in fact.
Listen,
yeah?
we know Sia's an F1 individual, so she likes a vroom, vroom, vroom.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. An Aries girl who likes trucks. What a shock.
Is that a thing?
I think so.
Really?
I'd say so. Let's hear from her. Let's send it back to her for CVX.
Thank you. Someone just mentioned that Sia needs a Hellcat. That's one of my dream cars. So that's literally one of my dream cars. Anyways, let's take a look at Chevron. CFO Emer Bonner has said that U.S. gasoline prices should decline as the Middle East continues to stabilize and crude normalizes. So the comments follow U.S. President Donald Trump's order for the Department of Justice to investigate major oil companies over certain allegations that they have not lowered gasoline prices quickly enough after these oil prices fell. Also, Bonner has said that there is typically a lag between these falling crude prices as well as lower prices at the gas pumps, stressing that energy companies are doing everything possible to increase the supply. And Chevron is expecting to grow their production between the range of 7 to 10% this year. So management believes that it will help improve that fuel availability. With that, Chevron is trading super flat at the moment.
Sia, I have to ask you, Yannick wants to know, are you a Lewis Hamilton fan?
No. Brendan and I were also talking about this yesterday, that we like that Formula One now is not just all Lewis Hamilton headlines or Mercedes headlines.
Right.
It's a bit, all the teams have come up to the same level, I would say. But no, I am a huge McLaren supporter, and I have been since
What
the
was
beginning.
that guy, Leclerc?
Charles Leclerc, yeah.
Is he good?
He's decent. I would say he's not bad, but my uncle's a big Ferrari supporter, so we have the butt heads over there.
Who does Leclerc drive for?
I believe so, Ferrari, yes.
Ferrari, okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. All right. You heard it from her. Look, Joey, I got to tell you the truth here. This is an interesting story. The CFO was on European television this morning for CVX. She went on there to respond to President Trump because President Trump, look, let's just be honest about it. Let's get into a little politics. He needs gas prices down yesterday. He needs them down last week. There are midterm elections that are right around the corner, and the voter is going to go into those polls with a bitter taste in their mouth because they've been getting rinsed at the gas station. And they want to see those gas prices drop when they see the price of the barrel drop. But that's not going to happen, is it, man? Because we've got a lot of time for all those ships to mosey on over here. Joey, it could be like a month before some of those ships find their way to their destination.
Yeah,
and if those ships don't find their way, then has supply really come back online? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe he should have thought of that back in April.
I'm just saying, bro.
Yeah, I know, and same here too. I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying if this is the case, because you're not wrong, midterms coming up, that's going to be huge for him, especially when it comes to popularity. Should have thought of that back in April.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
We're just saying. All right, let's go.
Let's just read some of these comments, Joey.
See everybody.
The gas. Okay, you removed it. I was going to read it. Okay. So let's send it back.
Well, there's a couple in here, Sharif.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how appropriate this is, but we'll put it out there.
Oh.
I'm glad every MAGA's gas prices are higher. Ha, 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 ha.
I think the gas prices are higher on everybody, though, no?
Yeah, man.
What's happening?
It's not just subjective to whoever it may be.
What is happening?
But, yeah, I mean, Joe.
Yes, the Jajas are back.
The Jajas.
I love it. Look at everybody's.
What happened? What was I laughing at again? Oh, yeah, I thought I won. Remember the whole thing? And I'm like, But, yeah,
all right, guys.
Failed on ATLN, by the way. Did not work.
You know what else is a fail? Well, I don't know if it's a fail, but European regulators targeting American companies. We have never talked about that. And that's not the next story at all.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Damn.
No.
Okay, let's take a look at our next ticker. What are we talking about? Microsoft, currently down very close to 4% on the day. EU is targeting Azure, again, something I mentioned during Sector Watch. Let's take a deeper dive. The European Union regulators have issued preliminary findings that Microsoft Azure and AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, should be designated as tech gatekeepers under the new digital competition rules. Regulators have said that Azure and AWS have become the two dominant cloud providers in Europe, with AI strengthening their positions. So the EU has argued that both these companies' investment scale and the expanding AI ecosystems have significantly outpaced their rivals. Amazon, however, has criticized this assessment, warning that it overlooks the breadth of cloud competition and it could discourage European investment and innovation. But Microsoft also has countered that regulators are underestimating the rapid growth of Google Cloud and the Gemini AI platform. And yes, with that, Microsoft over 4% in the red now.
I think this is indicative of a bigger issue. I think the Europeans need to get their hands on the computer systems, or they need control on the data that belongs to Europeans. And that's been the European concern this entire time. They are worried that European data isn't safe because these companies are American and they're beholden to the American government. So to play this out, from a theoretical perspective, should something happen between the two blocks and there's some sort of, animosity between them, perhaps the Americans get their hands on European data. And that's something the Europeans are worried about. And to be fair, Canada mentioned the exact same thing. Prime Minister Carney, he wants to do just that. He wants us, I don't want to say nationalize because that's not the right word, but he wants some sort of control on national data that can't find its way back into the United States, whoever happens to be in power at the time. And I think this is just another extension of them trying to gain control on that so they can kind of protect. Well, you got to give them, I don't say credit, but I got to sympathize with this, right? Like, they have to protect themselves. They have to protect their people. They have to protect their data, their blog, so to speak. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're stating them as gatekeepers at this point, right? So obviously with that, it's going to come at a cost, but we already know how Europe treats some of these companies. So if the officials decide to proceed with the designation, the companies would have 6 months to ensure full compliance with the DMA. So, I mean, at this point, the chances of them winning are probably going to be pretty low, in my opinion, because most of the rulings are not in their favor. I believe they'd be paying fines out of the yin yang, and then that's why we have the digital tax, right? And these companies are falling right under it. So,
And historically, they haven't done well when they've appealed some of these decisions to the ECJ, and you know, their litigation, I want to say, track record.
Yeah.
Is it positive in the way they're like, all right, well, you know, the regulator comes in hard, but the courts kind of uphold our rights? That really hasn't been the case.
dude, we've already seen it in Google. Don't they already have to share their information in Europe as well too, right? Like so many people, they already is like, okay, within the App Store, that is, you have to keep it a level playing field, and that's going to be the same narrative here. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's the fact that the EU has it out for American companies. It's just that they're so much better, and nothing like that has come out of, like what the Americans have has come out of Europe, in my opinion.
You bring up great points. So does the chat. Let's get to some of them. The EU should go develop their own cloud infrastructure, says TS Now 1994. Look at this. Frathos can. Great comment. Many Canadians feel the same way. Look at all the Well-Simple clients that don't want to use US-based verification systems. I actually know that. Thank you for pointing that out. No other way for them to make money, says Notorious Dingleberg. Yeah,
but let's Sharif, let's cut the crap here and the BS.
Okay, get it.
Is that when you have too much regulation behind certain things, this is where you fall into these types of scenarios. When you're not allowed to build in certain areas, you're not allowed to create the certain infrastructure, you end up finding the companies that have already started and been at the beginning since the beginning of this. It's the exact same thing that's happening here.
Just so I understand,
Yeah.
do you think the over-regulation in Europe hurts European companies to an extent that they can't build their own hyperscaler kind of cloud?
Absolutely. Well, think about Well, think about their fault. Like, who just signed a big-time deal in there's a CoreWeave. CoreWeave finally opening up, I think, a data center in Stockholm or something along those lines. And then you have them making stuff in Norway as well too. But it's just like they're a little bit late to the dance. But exactly to what you just said, man, it's just over-regulation puts you behind in certain ways.
I don't disagree with that.
And listen, it's the exact same narrative here. I understand there's hurdles. But look what happens. You fall behind when you have countries who are just like, okay, if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it.
That's a good point. Let's go back to Sia.
Sorry, just a second. Okay, we're going to take a look at Amazon's $13 billion India expansion. So it'll invest an additional $13 billion to expand AI as well as AWS cloud infrastructure in India, bringing its planned investment to $48 billion between the years 2026 as well as between the years 2026 to 2030. Apologies. The new funding will be expanding the AWS data center capacity in Mumbai as well as Hyderabad, which is located in the south of India, supporting a growing demand for AI computing and cloud services. The CEO of Amazon, Andy Jassy, also reaffirmed Amazon's long-term commitment to India following a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, emphasizing the AI adoption, digital transformation, as well as job creation. So the thing to note here is that India does not produce any of its own domestic any cutting-edge chips domestically, so it does have a frontier scale foundation model at par with leading US or Chinese models, but data center space in the country, as we've been hearing over the period of time, is growing pretty rapidly, and Amazon's investment from India from 2010 through the years 2030 now stands at a whopping $88 billion, underscoring the country's importance in this sector. With that, Amazon is down almost 3% on the day.
We know how the Indian economy is. You want access to the Indian economy, you're going to have to boost the Indian economy. That has always been the position of Modi, and he said that to Elon. He said that to the other hyperscalers. Of course, Apple involved and Amazon no different. So this deal here, they don't pay anything to the Indian government, but they got to expand their AWS data centers, as Sia mentioned. We're talking about, about $21 billion in that regard. They're also expanding their e-commerce logistics to get this deal as well. They're launching more than 20 new fulfillment centers and 100 delivery stations. Again, you got to invest in the Indian economy if you want access to it. They got to meet specific deployment goals by 2030. That includes 3.8 million Indian jobs, enabling $80 billion in e-commerce and digitally assisting about 15 million small businesses to provide AI education to about 4 million school students, I believe. So multiple facets of the Indian economy covered here through this deal. Good on Modi. Joey.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see the American companies really head into these emerging markets, right? Like, I believe India is one of those countries who are on the uprise, right? So you have Amazon stepping in. Apple was one of the first people to tap into, from the hyperscaler standpoint, to tap into the Indian economy. You have Tesla there as well, too. So things are starting to look positive. But it's no different than what Donald Trump was saying for America. It's like, if you want a piece of our economy, you have to invest here. And that's where you're seeing TSM and these other companies invest billions and billions of dollars within the American economy, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to tap into these large consumer bases, and India is starting to fall into that realm. I'm curious, because we've, over I think it was the past couple of decades, Sharif, you've seen China just lift hundreds of millions of people out of poverty into that middle class, establishing that.
India's trying to do the same thing, bro.
And that's exactly what I was going to get at. Are we going to fall into that neck of the woods here within India? So
look, they're doing it. Like, I think it's a little bit of a different model there
for sure
in India than it was in China, but let's give them a try. Guys, I got to just stop here for a second. TNON absolutely rocketed up there. Now, this is a penny stock, 62 pennies, TNON, but it just popped up 55% right now. Be on the lookout. Volume still a little light, 3 2/3 million, but it's picking up pretty quickly. 65 penny high. Keep your eye here on TNON if you're small cap gapper inclined. Should we send him back?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit Qualcomm. We did discuss quite a lot of this yesterday and saw that crazy up and down that was going on. But let's take a deeper dive into it. So Qualcomm's unveiled a long-term AI roadmap, raising its fiscal 2029 revenue target up to $40 billion. Now, prior from its target of $22 billion. Management is targeting a $15 billion in annual data revenue by the year 2029. Also expects an adjusted EPS of more than $18, well above Wall Street's current estimate of $15.26 So yesterday, Qualcomm introduced its new Dragonfly C1000 data center CPU with Meta, expected to deploy the chip beginning in 2028 for this agentic AI workloads. So I'm going to take a quick pause here, and I'm going to go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Robinhood. This is not moving too much on this, but just be aware of people on social media posting here claiming that apparently a dark web or threat actor is advertising what they're claiming to be a database containing Robinhood customer information. 14 million accounts breached. HOOD. Again, not too much of a move here, guys, but be aware of Robinhood.
Thank you so much, Adara, for that. We're going to quickly dive back into the story. So the company, Qualcomm, has expanded its automotive design win pipeline to $65 billion and has raised its 2029 automotive revenue target to $10 billion, which reinforces this diversification beyond smartphones. And as of yesterday, as we also saw, Qualcomm has acquired the AI startup Modular, whose AI software platform is viewed as a CUDA-like development system, so CUDA, strengthening Qualcomm's long-term AI software strategy. And with that, Qualcomm is up today, 7.27% on the day.
Nice to see that it's still up. Everything else is tanking. All right, that 2026 Investor Day could be a big day for this company, guys. $40 billion non-handset revenue. We're talking, of course, about AI and data centers. How about a 50x projected leap in their data center revenue? Let's talk specifics. So they're targeting $15 billion in data center revenue by 2029. But to understand, the significance of this number, let's compare that to what they actually made in data center revenue so far this year. Joey, do you want to take a guess? $15 billion they want to make in data center revenue by 29. How much do you think they made this year in data center revenue? So far, the year is halfway through. Take a shot.
$4.5 billion.
$300 million.
Oh, okay.
$300 million for that's what they're actually projecting, for full year fiscal 26. But we got to kind of walk before we can kind of run. So they're looking for $5 billion in data center revenue, up 1,500% in 24 months. That's what they're gauging here. That's their assessment. That $300 million in data center revenue for 26, and by the end of 27, they want to have $5 billion. Yeah, $5 billion by that, within 24 months. Let's also talk about the secret kind of deals that they had. Now we know who one of them is. So they've been touting these two secret hyperscalers as customers for their data center chips. They quietly disclosed that they have officially secured two distinct custom silicon hyperscale cloud arrangements. We're talking about ASICs, of course, that's slated to deliver at least $1 billion each in baseline revenue by fiscal 2027. Qualcomm intentionally, of course, left these names out, but we've already know who one of them is, and it's Meta. And they're not going to be providing ASICs to Meta or GPUs. It's actually going to be a CPU. And I'm sure you're able to infer that the CPU will be used for inference and agentic AI. And that's why the CPU has been burgeoning, and all these CPU makers have been kind of moving up now when they were kind of left behind with the GPU because of inference specifically. Let's also talk about their Dragonfly server portfolio. They specifically designed that to take on NVIDIA, to take on AMD in the agentic world for inference AI. The roadmap sets a concrete timeline. They're talking about the AI 200 inference accelerator. It's going to launch by the end of this year, and then the 250, AI 250 that is, by mid-27. So not even like a one-year cycle between these. That's how quickly they're trying to get into the game. And then they also had about $65 billion in automotive design lock-in. So what am I talking about? They quietly consolidated near total dominance over their future of automotive stack. So the company confirmed their Snapdragon digital chassis. They basically, the revenue for that ballooned to $65 billion. It provides immense, legally contracted buffer that mathematically, according to this article, guarantees a path to its $10 billion automotive revenue target by 2029. Dude, if these numbers come to fruition and they're not just, pie in the sky and to move the needle for guidance, Qualcomm is going to be significantly more valuable than it's trading at right now, if it comes to fruition.
I don't know why some of the analysts aren't that bullish on this thing, like $190 price target.
What would you say the market cap is on this without looking?
3 to 400 billion.
You're not far. 223. So you're not that far.
Okay. So
and that's what today's price action is up 7.5%.
Which is weird because if you're projecting that type of growth, then that's absolutely insane. That would outpace what you've seen in Micron and maybe even NVDA at that point. That's a big time jump. Did you mention that what Meta's doing with the Dragonfly?
I didn't. I said that Meta was one of their secret hyperscalers.
Well, I guess it's not so secret, anyways. Yeah, I mean, with that
Neither
type of
company has confirmed it. Just so we're just speculating.
Okay, I see what you're saying. No, I mean, in all seriousness, right? If those numbers are actually, like Sharif mentioned, come to fruition, you're going to see exponential growth within this company. You already have a pretty big breakout, but we're talking about an underlying asset that hasn't done much for a very, very long time until as of recently. So the trip trade continues, and I'm reading a bunch of articles, just kind of go back and forth here. People are just stating that Micron is the new, for the time being, that is the new NVDA. Which is very, very interesting, 73%. And I mean, if you talk about this lengthy consolidation, there could be a lot of room to really run here in Qualcomm. I mean, you just tapped into all-time highs in May, and now you come back a little bit. So if those numbers are right, and you see on the next earnings report that they even come in line or even beat the guidance, watch out for this company to just go on a big-time run.
So let me ask you something then, because there's a lot of Micron hype now. Are you excited for the SK Hynix IPO?
It doesn't really do.
It doesn't move the needle for you?
It doesn't do anything for me, no. It's already a company that's already...
you don't think
it just doesn't have an ADR. You know what I mean?
It's going to list here, Joe. It's going to list in
No,
July.
I know, but that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
It's already a company that's just not tradable here, like a public trading. You know what I mean?
Like you and I can trade it, right? Because we have world access on our platforms,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But like none of us buy it
No, I mean, like, do you,
for whatever reason.
like here? I mean, you can have exposure to it. Just buy DRAM.
Yeah. Yeah, do they own us, Kevin?
Yeah,
They do,
yeah. We'll pull it up right
Nice,
now. Like, so there's already ways to get exposure to it. And as for SK Hynix, like, sure, something positive could happen. I'm not disregarding that fact, but don't forget, like, you have all of the other names, right? You have Seagate, you have Western Digital, you have SanDisk as well too.
You like this chart?
Yeah, who is that?
EWY.
Is that
This is the South Korea ETF, the MSCI Morgan Stanley South Korea ETF, up 3.25%. That's the monthly on it, pardon me. So shout out to Dave in the chat for pointing this out. Here's the daily on that, Joey.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good, man.
Dude, look at it.
South Korea ETF here.
This is DRAM.
But it's indirect exposure, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
indirect. This is
but
indirect.
dude, 24%
What's
of
the ticker? Can you send me the ticker? 0000660.
Yeah.
Like
24 3/4 of DRAM's holding is SK Hynix.
It doesn't come up. Where
And
is
Samsung at 16.
Yeah.
You know what
There
I
it
mean?
is right there, Joey. We got it. Okay, so I hear that there is news. Let's go to Adair.
Just be aware here, guys. I'm seeing a headline come through Wall Street Journal apparently reporting that Iran has attacked a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, according to U.S. officials. This is just coming through now, at least on my blotter. I'm going to look into this further, but just be aware this is on watch. UN shipping agency also coming out saying that there was a ship attacked in the Gulf of Oman on Thursday that did not transit under the UN agency's evacuation framework. Going to look into this further, but just be aware, guys. Heads up. Doing more investigation.
Thank you. This is the actual chart of SK Hynix. So if anybody wants, it's 000660. Right, we'll put that up. And that's how these Asian stocks are, right? Like there are numbers. So let's go 0006600. There we go, Joey. Like anybody know. But this, we're almost at all-time highs. This is the daily chart. So we got into all-time highs on the 23rd. But as you can see, this latest Micron earnings report has SK Hynix ripping up. I wonder if I can actually buy this. See if I can buy it in the sim over here, Joey. We're going to find out. But you okay?
It's someone's name, man.
All right, let's send it back to Sia because I think we're almost on the news segment.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over there.
Absolutely. Let's talk about one last story. Microsoft lifting the price of Xbox consoles due to the soaring component costs. Adara mentioned this earlier, but let's dive a bit deeper as to what's happening here. Microsoft has said that it's increasing the price of the Xbox game consoles after Apple has announced price hikes for MacBook and iPads in the same time frame. Starting on the 1st of August, Xbox Series S consoles containing 512 GB of storage will go up by $100 to about $500. And Microsoft has said on Thursday that while these models with 1 TB will increase by $150 or more, entry-level Xbox Series X will also start at $750. Microsoft has said that the console storage and memory prices as well have increased by more than 2.5 times, and we will expect another doubling by fall of 2027. And it said that the 2 TB Xbox Series X that introduced in 2024 will no longer be available and be discontinued. With that, Microsoft is down 4.05%.
Yeah, it's not something I know too much about, the gaming, but we can talk about the component costs, of course, and that is the problem here, right? And I'm surprised, Sia, to only hear that it increased by 2.5 times because some of the other articles that we read, some other hyperscalers, component users as well, they're saying 4 times the cost that they were paying in mid-25. So I guess it really depends on what they're getting, but I'm not really surprised by this at all. And it's not just memory, it's storage as well, as we've seen. Western Digital, just by way of example, guys, is up 300% year to date, 294. Not as much as SanDisk, mind you, 871. But I think the point remains the same. I think we're going to see component costs increase on the big, electronics producers. They're going to pass that off. My question, though, is at what point does that create demand destruction? And at what point do you start seeing these companies either absorb the costs and get a hit on the profitability, or their actual producers themselves, like the Microns, like whoever else, actually starts taking, a bit of a more toned down approach and not increasing their gross margins quarter over quarter sequentially like that, because at some point this is going to create demand disruption. I'm just not intelligent enough to know when. So with that in mind, you good or so? All right. So yeah, Neil, you good? You ready to go? All right. Neil's always ready, baby. You see that time though, Neil? You don't see anything. We got a $1.30 in the bag, and I only get that though. Joey doesn't get it because he wasn't here. All right, I'm just joking. All right, guys, let's send it over to the big boys. See everybody tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, guys.
What's the time? I don't know.